Oh, I am muted. Thank you so much for that. That means I get to redo my intro spiel. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the grand finale of Shoot Your One Shot, which is a series of 4 one-shots set in Andake, which is Transplanar RPG's noncolonial anti-orientalist world. We are trying to raise money to split evenly between our main cast and our incredible guest stars, 4 of whom you can find right here on this overlay. Look at how beautiful and amazing and handsome and gorgeous they are. Yay! We are exactly $300 away from hitting that goal. Can we get there by the end of tonight? That is just $300 until we hit 1K, and we've got some amazing incentives lined up for you all. To see a list of the incentives and a donate link, use !donate in chat. But if you're lazy, here are the incentives, just so you know off the top of your head. If we hit $720, that's $20 away. That is the price of like 2 drinks at Starbucks, right? We are gonna get inspo for Geron. If we hit $740, we are going to get inspiration for Gentle. If we get $760, that's inspiration for Sitlali. $780, that's inspiration for Analia. $800 is inspiration for Oka. $820, now we're entering some meta territory. You will unlock Geron's character playlist. Yes, emo boy tunes. Let's get it. $820 for that. $840 for Gentle's playlist for some very different kinds of tunes. $860 for Sitlali's playlist. $880 for Oka's grunge, shitty trans boy, trans non-binary person. I'm calling you out playlist.
How dare you?
You know I love you, C. And if we hit $900, that is going to unlock the next round of incentives, which is Analia's Memory with Mercy, who is the person we're trying to rescue today. At $920, that is going to be a memory with Geron. $940, a memory with Gentle. $960, a memory with Sitlali. $980, memory with Oka. And the grand prize at 1K. The monster, the one, the only, the beastie, Jude's cat is going to attack the party and TPK them, hopefully.
Oh, no.
Fingers crossed here. But enough about me. Enough about Connie. Let's learn more about our incredible Shoot Your One Shot Mercy Mercy Me guest stars. I'm gonna pass along introductions. Let's start with C. Tell us who you are, where we can find you.
Hi y'all, my name is C. I use they, them pronouns. I am technically a professional dancer, also a tabletop actor, a dungeon dramaturg, a creative consultant. I like to think about D&D really, really hard. I also draw a lot of things. I'm a digital artist. You can find me doing commissions on my Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr at PieSharpArt. You can also find me streaming sometimes at pie_sharp, mostly doing art, although sometimes I do love a good video game. And you can also find me on Transplanar as a regular cast as my darling, dearest, horrible little creature, Oka. And with that, I will pass it over to Dare.
I'm ready for you this time. Hi, I'm Dare. You can find me on Twitter and TikTok at NBDare. I make videos and just do a lot of stuff online, whether that's consultation work or editing. I just wrote and released a tabletop game, When the Sun Dies. It's about the world ending, but like in a chill way. I really like it. I think most people would. It's at nbdare.itch.io. And yeah, I just do things around places. I'm going to pass it off to Quinn.
Hello, I'm Quinn, she, they pronouns, and you can find me on Twitter at Quintastic_. I am a TTRPG designer, a sensitivity reader, an actual player, and other stuff. I do stuff and also things. I write games. They're very strange. We love Fever Dreams. They're good. It's a good time. I appear in several games throughout the week. You would think that I would write down my schedule, but I didn't. So follow me on Twitter to find out when I'm in games and such. And I am passing the baton to Jude.
Hello, it's me, your local chaotic bisexual. My name's Jude. My pronouns are they, them. I am a variety broadcaster here on Twitch, and I'm also a TTRPG performer and the producer for Death's Divinity, the first all-fat, all-queer D&D 5e actual play show and podcast. You can tell I've been saying it a lot because I can just snap through it. I also play Sylvira over on From Dusk Till Dark, which is a Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign over on Vanna's channel. And yeah, I have 3 horrible gremlin cats who want to take over the world. That's pretty much me. And I'm going to pass it over to Hamna.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hamna. I use any and all pronouns, and you can find me on Twitter at @shahid_, where I talk about all of the different things that I do. Right now, I am part of the Follow Black Cats' Cursed Captains of Cthulhu miniseries, where I play as the Seeker on Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And I am also going to be a cast member of an upcoming Pathfinder 2E campaign that is going to be with an all-Asian cast minus the GM. So all of the players are Asian. It's going to be super great. We're going to kick some butt. It's going to be a good time. But yeah, I'm super excited for today, though.
Oh my goodness, yes, me too. We have hit $730 already during introductions. If we get one more $10 donation, that's going to be inspiration for 2 out of 5 of our players. So Geron, you already have inspiration here. Can we get another $10 for inspiration for Gentle before we have to make our first rolls of the evening? That would be amazing. Thank you to those who have donated so far. We love you, and we appreciate your support. So I think we just go ahead and get started, eh? Before we go into things, a note about safety. Content warnings for this one-shot include fantasy, violence, PG-13 to a little bit of R rating scale, monsters and monstrosity, blood and bloodletting, addiction and substance use, and body horror. Though I don't think we'll be very heavy in the addiction and substance use area tonight. So take care of yourself the way you need to. Feel free to step away from this if you have to. Your safety is our primary concern, just like with airlines and roller coasters. So let's get started. It is the 405th year of the Great Treaty of the 8 Nations. 1 week before Adolin, the last day of the last month of the year. Zima Lake sweeps the horizon before you, its perpetually frozen surface glimmering with winter frost, swaddled in a thick blanket of snow after last night's storm. To the north, so far in the distance that they look like tiny little pieces of candy, you see a cluster of colorful Morosan shanties. Festive bunting is strung between poles while evergreen bonfires kept in ancestral pits keep the home fires burning even in the dead of winter. But you're not here to marvel at the commune's Adolin preparations. You're here to track down Mercy. Geron, Gentle, Sitlali, Analia, and Oka. The 5 of you stand at the edge of a massive hole gouged into the frozen surface of Zima Lake. Chill wind bites at your exposed skin, howling past your ears and ruffling your clothing. You are surrounded by a bed of slurried ice, generated from the person, creature, monster that drilled into the permafrost. The hole extends deep, bone deep into the ice, until it eventually forms a tunnel that points northwest. The depths of this hole are black, so black that they turn midnight blue. You don't see any water. The ice here must be thick, at least 30 feet or so deep until your vision tunnels out. Geron, Gentle, Sitlali, Analia, and Oka. Early this morning, the 5 of you had arrived on the frozen, cracked shoreline of Zima Lake, at the rendezvous point where Mercy told you to meet her. But Mercy never arrived. In fact, when you got there, you saw telltale signs of a struggle. Someone, or more likely something, had attacked her while she was waiting for the 5 of you, and before you could receive your next mission from her, the monster had dragged her into the wilderness of the lake. You'd tracked the struggle across the ice, maneuvered around false leads, bickered, wasted time until you got here, to this hole. And now, as the 5 of you look at each other, puzzling over these clues, these tracks, we first need to press pause on this because we have to find out who exactly the 5 of you are and what you're all about. And who better to answer that question with than Sitlali? Tell us, who are you and what do you look like?
Today, Sitlali uses they, she pronouns, and Their hair is kind of an iridescent pastel and I blue screened for a second, sorry. I had to reboot for a second. Their eyes are like a really bright sort of hazel, and I don't know, they just have like a very pastel goth vibe today, and they wear like a very specific dark amulet that they keep kind of tucked into their underneath their scale mail. And today they've decided to be 6 foot. They were on like a short kick for a little bit, but like they're tall today. So yeah, that's Sitlali.
Awesome. Sitlali, I think actually as you're sort of like looking over this hole, we're going to pan in on, the wrinkled crease above your hazel eyes as you puzzle over what could have taken Mercy. We zoom in on your face. And as we do, I think we enter a flashback to a very specific and very significant event in your life, Sitlali. It's the night that Mercy recruits you. So where are you this night and what are you doing?
I am on the streets, somewhere in Nepal. I've got my little attempt at a booth. It's a very poorly made booth set up with my sort of like deck of cards spread across the table. And there is a not very well hand-painted sign that says tarot readings, 20 gold. Just kind of, yes, 20 gold. You heard correctly. My prices are worth it. Just kind of, and they're like outlandish fabrics, sort of like, that were clearly stolen from somewhere at some point. One of them is clearly someone's coat. And they're just kind of sat back looking for, kind of like casing people as they go by to see who's a good mark.
I think you hear a voice go as you're nestled in like the darkened streets of Raso, let's say the capital city of Nepal, situated upon Ingir Lake on Clothal Island. There's a ton of people walking by. Let's say maybe you're in the middle of like a festival. This is where you can get a ton of great, you can hustle a lot of people here because there's people coming and going. You just skip town and like lay low, right? So you're looking around, the smells of this festival suffusing your nose, like roasting nuts, and meats being grilled like in a tandoori grill nearby. When you hear a voice go, 20 gold for a reading. You're either a grifter or the best damn prophet Andake's ever seen. And a shadow falls over your booth. Silhouetted by glowing fairy lights behind her, you see a muscular half-orc woman with this sort of like ponytail drawn up, this like dark hair. She's got an eye patch over one ear, and you see like scars ribboning across her body, and like a massive sword strapped to her back. You have a feeling that if you try to grift her, she might crack you open like a walnut and put you on a spit and roast you. So, Sitlali.
Yes, please.
Negative inspiration. Someone put this person in horny jail. Negative inspiration.
Well, I was gonna say, I think they deserve more inspiration for that. That's all I'll say about that. Anyway,
that's fair. I guess I should know my audience here. Sitlali, how do you respond to this?
We both.
All right. 20 gold, then. And this woman reaches to a pouch strapped to her waist and she doesn't open it, but you hear like the thick, fat thunking of coins onto your booth.
Do you mind if I count it first?
Of course.
They'll just kind of reach for it.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
Woo. Do. First roll of the night. Okay. Investigation. I can read. 21.
21. These coins are fake. There are 20 of them, but they're fake. Well-made forgeries, though. Only a sharp eye could have caught it.
So I'll hold one up between my fingers and just go, really?
What?
I am but a humble, honest tarot reader, and you want to try to pay me off with these?
Sharp eye. you want the real thing, you gotta give me a sampling first. So what do the cards have in store for me?
Let's find out, shall we? And Sitlali kind of flourishes the deck. It is a nice deck. And looks for their mark. Because they are marked. And I think they've been doing this long enough that they'll get a decent rating. Let's find out if I'm right. My cards might roast me instead. Because they're like that. Da-da-da-da. Let's see. And okay. It says get wild. I don't know how well it's picking up. And they'll just kind of pull it out of the deck with a flourish and go, I get the sense that you live a bit on the edge. What was your name?
I didn't give it to you. How about this? You intuit my name from the cards and I'll give you 40. Real ones.
And I think they just kind of glance up and away and just sort of think out to whatever it is they talk to. Yo, do you know this bitch's name? Can you figure it out for me? Like, is that a thing that you can do? Because I don't know what I'm doing.
I think you hear a noise echoing in your head as you're trying to like entreat the weave around you, and whatever forces are watching over you, the voice just sort of goes, I'm so lonely.
Yeah, I know. We go through this all the time, but like, can you like get their name?
So sad.
Yeah, we go over this pretty frequently. But like,
friend make friend.
I will make friends with them if you can give me their name.
No.
Okay, so like, you realize this is not productive, right?
This entire time, have you been staring off blankly into space? As you've been, or have you been like,
Sitlali is like trying to sell it as like them vibing with like the weave and the universe. But they're really just like, can you please help a bitch out? Like, can you?
Okay, totally. Make a deception check for me.
Yeah, good. I'm good at those.
I will contest it with an insight.
Stalker.
It's a natural 20.
What's the total on that?
27.
Okay. That is not sufficient. This woman leans forward, places an elbow on the stand, and you see like her like the one eye that's left is like glowing, like seems to be glowing brightly, and she says, "You're good at what you do, aren't you? But you're full of shit." That's a compliment. I could use someone like you. Pays 20 gold a week plus commission. You in?
I suppose.
I've got the details right here. And she reaches for a scroll strapped to her belt. And on that, we're going to pull out of Sitlali's face. Go back to the frozen hole that this woman has been dragged into, presumably. But we're going to focus on a different face now. We're going to pan over to Geron. Geron, why don't you tell us who you are and what you look like?
So, Geron is a green dragonborn. Their skin is dark brown and it fades into a even deeper and darker green as their skin transitions into scales. Their eyes are dark purple, almost like the color of blackberry juice. They're about, 5'10", kind of lean, and they have these sharp, curved teeth, like the ones of dragons. But of course, dragons are extinct. They don't exist currently. And on their tail, that is kind of like long and sweeps up behind them, they have piercings with threads connecting them, threads the color of ice. And you can see these threads adorning their horns and different parts of their body as well.
Hell yeah. And I think next to you, we're also going to, the camera's going to widen a bit to also pan to Gentle. Gentle, who are you and what do you look like?
Oh, yeah, Gentle is a Triton, so like light blue skin, green hair, purple eyes because it's not a Dare character if they don't have purple eyes. Um, and I think they're wearing a laughing mask. They are a Way of Mercy monk, so they like to hide their face most of the time. And yeah, I think they're like 6'2", but they stand at a really weird like slouch, so you can't quite tell how big they are, and they wear a big cloak to help hide most of their body. They got weird
Okay.
vibes.
Nice. So like on both of your faces, this masked face as well as this face like written on the edges with these scales, right? These scintillating scales. We're gonna push it on both of these. We're gonna do a flashback as well to the night where Mercy recruits the two of you, because I believe the two of you are doing the same thing on this night. You were recruited together. So Geron and Gentle, tell me, where are you and what are you doing on that night?
I think we're out on the frozen lake, kind of a ways away from the settlement itself, hunting for food, as we often do, in order to bring it back to the commune for not only for food, but also for furs.
All right, wonderful. Gentle, what is Gentle up to during this hunt?
Normally, I think I tend to be more of a hunter for fish, but I decided to help out for once just because it's a nice change of pace and I get a little bored. And plus, when I help hunt, I can go find weird herbs and spices for my homemade remedies.
Wonderful. So why don't the two of you tell me, what is the creature or the beast you're tracking down? What are you trying to hunt tonight?
Do you want to go there or?
I'll leave the floor open to you first.
All right. I was thinking like an Arctic fox. There's a lot of them around here, so.
Okay, I love that. So maybe I think the two of you, you're like kitted out, you know, you're swaddled in furs, you've been like trekking along the ice for a little bit, where you see like a sort of where like a little like ice mound like rises. You've been tracking these paw prints, right, to like a little ways like behind this mound, right? So why don't the two of you just make a survival check for me?
Ooh, survival.
Let's see if I'm good at this.
Got an 11.
Okay.
14 for me.
11 and 14, the two of you hear drifting on the darkened breeze of this wintry night. You hear a whimper. It sounds like an Arctic fox whimpering, and you hear a growl, something much, much bigger from beyond this ice mound. What do the two of you do?
I crouch low and look over at Gentle and just kind of put a finger to my lips to signal that we should stay quiet.
My mask is already on, and I do that right back.
Okay. Are the two of you going to stay in place, or are you going to sort of like stealth your way forward and try to peek over this mound?
I'm thinking
crawling
taking a
motions.
peek. Yeah, I'm thinking
Okay.
taking a peek.
I think you shimmy forward, and when you finally get to the apex of this mound, you peek downward, and you see sort of like nestled against the nadir of this little pile. You see the Arctic fox you were tracking, but it's in the jaws of a winter wolf, which is a large. It's like the size of like a grizzly or a polar bear, like a massive wolf, and it's eating its prey. I'm not gonna get too graphic here with animal violence, but yeah, that fox is not doing well, and what's more, you both would know, I think, that Arctic wolves are sort of like the weave favors them. They've got a little bit of magic running through their bestial veins, just a little bit. And like even through like this like thin flurry of snow that's sort of like sweeping through this landscape, you can see the wolf's eyes are glowing a kind of like vicious blue. And it's eating your dinner. So what do the two of you do?
Kind of sigh, look over at Gentle and say, well, I guess that's dinner for us now, if you're up for it.
I mean, do you think we got it? Because I think I might be able to help.
Help. Help how?
Well, let me see here. I could get it to maybe calm down, or I could try to talk to it, and maybe it can lead us to more food. It's always worth a shot. I never know.
I mean, if you can talk to it, be my guest. I mean, I've I'm able to make the same sounds that it can make, but I've never really figured out a way to turn that into communication, you know?
Yeah, I'm a lot better at talking to fish, admittedly, which makes hunting them easier. But maybe I can promise it fish and have it help us hunt.
If you can do that, go for it. But I will stay here, and if things go south, I'll bring it over to me, okay? And then you need to run.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm faster than you. Absolutely.
Oh, okay, hold up. When did you decide this?
Uh, I'm a monk.
And you
Oh,
sit and you meditate.
I mean, I can move when I want to. It's just a lot of work.
Your talking has attracted the attention of this wolf.
Oh,
You
no.
see it stops chewing on this fox. Its ears go erect and it turns its like glowing blue gaze on the two of you. Its jaws dripping
Gentle?
with gore.
Time to go talk to it.
Oh, yeah, no, it's fine. I like have the mask on still, and I just like very awkwardly with a weird like limber to it, head over, and I just sort of like reach like one hand out of like I'm a friend and like reach into my like herbalism pouch and just pull out some assorted like berries and like spices and stuff.
Okay.
And
Do you
try to-
do you say anything as you approach?
Oh, hey, hi. I'm a friend of yours. At least if I'm not yet, I will be very soon. Do you like snacks?
Geron, how are you pitching in to help Gentle as they approach this wolf? Because as they get closer, you're like, this wolf looks bloodthirsty and hungry. It's gonna need more than just Gentle's handling here. So how do you help?
Okay, and seeing that it's not maybe necessarily going to go so well, Geron is going to just from the mound, like, start to slowly approach very slow, with like their hands out. One hand kind of like ready to grab the rapier on their hilt just in case, and they are going to start mimicking like wolf sounds that they would have heard in the past, using their like rogue abilities in order to do so.
Okay, so Geron, make a deception check for me.
Okay.
And Gentle, make a persuasion check for me.
Wonderful.
15.
Okay.
Oof. Oh, that's a 7.
I don't like that.
It's
Okay.
a 7. I was real close to that one.
Oh, I don't like that.
You see like the big wet nose of this wolf like twitching. You see like, the saliva mixed in with the gore like dribbling from its lower jaw. It's black, like lips as it smells the berries, and its ear twitches as you hear like as you mimic the noises, right, of its kinfolk, Geron. And there's like a moment of hesitation as the fur seems to settle down just a little bit. And then slicing through the night air, something penetrates the hide of this wolf, slices it through the gut, and the wolf sort of like is slammed like a couple of feet, like knocked a couple feet awake, and like falls onto the icy ground, and it skids, knocking up like a pile of snow, and staining the snow with its blood, and sort of striding out of this like flurry of snow that I think has thickened since you approached this wolf. You see 2 figures, one of whom is a large, broad-cut orc woman with an eye patch right over her eye, and her arms sort of outthrown like she just threw something. And as you look at the wolf's like writhing body, you see it was a giant sword that she just straight up threw at this thing and has speared it through the middle of its body. And accompanying her next to her is a drow ? Oka, would you like to describe what you look like in this flashback and who you are?
Yes, absolutely. Oka is a 5'8" half drow Aasimar. They have this stone gray skin that is just kind of like littered with all of these freckles all over them. But more so than freckles, they are covered head to toe in deep, gnarled scars all over their body, the most notable of which passes horizontally through their lips and just kind of carves one side of their mouth open. The other most notable fact about them is that they have 2 pupils in each eye. 4 pupils that kind of stare out from these like bright blue eyes and this shorn dark hair. And they stalk forward with like this big like fur coat. And they're holding a dao, this blade with a beautiful red hilt. And they are kind of like, their lip is curled like up at this other stranger, and they're going, "Are you fucking kidding me? We could have at least waited until we got there. There was no need to throw it. You're just showing off."
You should show off more often, Oka. You! And you! And this woman's booming voice cuts across the howling breeze of this like winter storm that's starting to gather around you. Were you hunting that thing?
I'm actually gonna ask, is there a chance for me to heal it?
There is. Are you gonna move toward the wolf to try to heal it?
Yes. No question.
Don't you move, that's our mark.
Sorry, but I'm going to heal it real quick. But I can help it lead us to more food. All right, 1 second though. And I just kind of break and immediately run over there.
Trust them. They know what they're doing.
We're not hunting that thing for food. That thing has been eating people in the smaller villages outside of Bolshaya. We've been hunting it for days now.
Does it have food? Because from just being here in the area, usually when monsters or larger creatures attack, it's because their own food supply has been damaged somehow.
The reason behind its people-eating proclivities are none of our concern. You, if you know what's good for you, stay away from that wolf. It's ours.
Lucky I don't. I would like to roll to use Hand of Healing to give
on the wolf.
Yes.
Okay, so how does that
Gentle's
work?
stubborn. I'm just going to use a point, a key point to restore it for 1d4 plus 3.
Okay, so roll 1d4 plus 3.
That is, that's full health, baby. 7.
Nice. Yeah, so what does it look like as you're tending to this wolf's wounds?
I think it's one of those things where like just start like stretch all the fingers out individually, and then just like my hands begin to glow with like a faint orange, and I just like very gently start to like put my hand on like the wound, and it starts healing.
Okay. As like the wound starts to stitch itself up, it's sort of stitching up around the sword that's still embedded in its side. You hear the wolf sort of like whimper and snarl, right? As it like sort of twitches as the sword is embedded in its body. And this half-orc woman pauses, looking carefully at you, Gentle, and at you, Geron, and says, "You said you could track it, convince it to lead us somewhere where there's more food, more of its brethren?"
Also, I can just breathe underwater, so I could also hunt fish.
Geron is going to go and try to like gently pull the sword, like Mercy's sword, out of the wolf to allow the wound to heal properly and not basically like fuse this sword into the poor wolf's body, and is going to walk over and hand Mercy the sword and say, "I think you want this back."
Mercy takes the sword from you and sort of like wipes the blood off onto her gauntlet, like her leather vambrace, like either side. And she says, "Still your Dao, Oka. These two might be useful yet. Sure, the bounty for this wolf is high, but I am a keen investor, as you know. What do you think?"
Oh, another one of your schemes. Why does this always have to be so hard?
I'm a sucker for broken people, what can I say? The two of you. What are your names?
Geron.
Shockingly enough, Gentle.
But
I have a
who are you calling broken?
I have a nose about these things. The kindest hearts out there have suffered the greatest tragedies, so I've discovered I have a proposition for the two of you regarding sparing the life of this wolf and feeding your bellies for the next few weeks. What do you say?
can we also feed the bellies of the people back home?
Depends on how much commission you make. Depends on how good you are at your job. Want to hear me out?
What's the offer?
And Mercy tells you. And on that, we're gonna pull out of this flashback, right? Go back to this hole, this dark, deep purple-blue hole, and zoom in on one of the final faces staring down into this tunnel. Analia, why don't you tell us who you are and what you look like?
Hi, so my character is Analia Santos. She stands about 6'3". She's very bulky, very beefy. We love her. She's built like a power lifter, essentially. So by looking at her, you'd be scared of her, and then she opens her mouth, and you're like, oh no, she's made of cotton candy. Like, she's fine. She is a purple tiefling, and she is a Oath of Glory paladin.
Fantastic. And just a side note for you, Jude, to unmute yourself in the Google Meet so we can get your
Oh
captions.
no! Oh
No, you're good, you're good.
Not this! Okay, I did it.
You're good. We'll cut this out during the podcast version. Okay. I think we're going to push in on this tiefling's face, right? As maybe your brow's also furrowed looking at this hole. We're going to flash back to a moment in your life as well. The same night as everyone else's when the same thing happens when you are recruited into the Hounds. Why don't you tell us, Analia, where are you and what are you doing on that night?
Analia is right on the outskirts of Nabal. They were scouting for monsters. They're looking for things to fight. Analia is someone who loves to train, loves to speak it out what they do, and so happened to stumble their way next to the frozen lake and has found themselves fighting a water weird by themselves.
Okay.
Because although our baby is very beefy, they are not very bright.
Could we say this is happening on the shores of Ingir Lake? Since we are in the championship, it's a non-frozen lake, so you don't have to worry about like the water weird also having ice powers, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So let's say it's like late evening, you're sort of in like a densely wooded area, and there's the water is like a lashing, right? Like forms like an arm, and it tries to smash a fist down onto the shore where you are. So as this fist comes down on you, Analia, tell me how you dodge out of the way.
I think Analia tries their best to jump back and put their shield up in order to circumvent the force.
Okay, what's your AC?
18.
The water just bangs against your shield, and you see it form another giant fist. It's like down on your shield. Maybe you're like your legs are sort of getting pushed into the mud of the shore by like the force of the bang, but it can't get past that shield. So Analia, what do you do next?
I think at this point, Analia removes the scimitar from their back and goes to slash at the water weird.
Okay, so make an attack roll.
Yeah!
While you're doing that, we have hit 1K. So all of our incentives are hit. Can we push? Can we push to 1,100? Another $100? Let's try to go for 1,100.
Yeah!
That's amazing!
24 to hit?
That does hit, so why don't you roll damage and describe to me what it looks like?
Okay. What is this? Sorry. I'm trying to figure out what this is. Okay. 10 slashing.
Okay, 10 slashing. Let's say, what do you do? Do you slash off one of its water fists?
Yeah, I think that Analia sees one of the water fists and immediately is like trying to cut it off at the wrist, kind of.
Okay, awesome. I think you cut off one of the water fists, and it lets out as that one fist just sort of sloughs onto the ground around you, just sort of douses you in this icy cold water. And maybe in this deluge, you're like, water's getting in your face. You know what I mean? It's gross. It's getting in your hair. When you hear a voice go, "Look out! On your left, And when you just have enough time to turn, you see a massive fist sort of like coming at you from your blind spot, like from like the left side where your shield isn't, and because you'd raise your arm to like slash the other, so you're open. Your left side is wide open
there. Yeah.
Yep. You see like a big fist come down, but at the last minute, the fist also discorporates and just splashes into a useless puddle around you as you see steel cleaving its into its like water wrist, right? And wielding this pane of steel, this like sharp greatsword, is a half-orc woman with an eye patch. You know, her muscles sort of like bulging. I think you're both like beefy, right? And there's sort of like this moment where her like one eye that isn't covered by the eye patch, like you meet her gaze, right? And there's like a moment of like you see like respect in her eyes. She's sort of like sizing you up. And this water weird, now that both of its like big fists are gone, it rears back and so it's sort of like thrashing in the water. So tell me, how do you and this stranger finish this thing off together?
I think Analia is going to stab through the center of it while this stranger tries to chop right above. So at the same time, we're just making that motion.
Awesome. You lunge forward and you like spear your scimitar, right? Through the center of its body. And this woman, if it's okay with you, she goes, brace yourself. And she uses your body as a launch pad. She's like, one big boot on your back, flies through the air. And she lands in the shallow. There's a moment where it's like, where nothing happens. And then like an anime, like the water weird just like slides into half, right? And then like splashes into like the surf, you know, like rains down all around you.
Oh my god.
And in this moment, I think both of you hear a third voice coming from the wood, kind of sarcastic, that says,
seriously, do you always have to show off, Mercy?
And this half-orc woman that you now learn is called Mercy. Like, gets up and she like pushes her hair out of her face, like literally like drip it, you know, like.
Don't ham it up. Go on then.
You need to learn how to make more of an entrance yourself, Oka, skulking in the woods.
What was I supposed to do? It doesn't have any blood.
Sheaths her great sword like on her back and turns to you, Analia. Like holds out a hand. Mercy.
Analia will sheath her scimitar and shake her hand. Analia.
That was some impressive fighting you did back there.
Oh, thank you. Not so bad yourself.
I've had practice. If you don't mind me asking, why were you hunting this water weird?
Practice.
Practice? Against a water weird by yourself? On its home turf? That's daring. You're either very brave or very stupid.
I fought worse.
Are you a sellsword? You with a group?
I travel alone.
Why?
People's morals don't line up to where I need them to be.
Well, how do you feel about joining a group whose morals can be whatever you want them to be?
It's either very appealing or a nightmare.
Well, you are in the championship, ready to take a risk.
I've won once, I can win again.
I'm the leader of a group of sellswords, monster hunters. We call ourselves the Hounds of... She jerks a thumb at herself. Mercy. You're welcome to travel with us if you want. We're passing through Nabal, trying to pick up a couple of other talents. Headed toward Rosso next. You interested? The pay's good, lodging's good, company's better, or worse?
Much worse.
Well, I have nowhere else to be, and this seems fun.
Well, if there's one thing I can guarantee is that you'll never have a dull moment with the Hounds. Welcome aboard, kid.
Thanks.
And on that...
So good. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Just two wet queers.
Wet, beefy queers. We love to see it.
Wet, beefy queers. We're gonna cut back to this frozen lake.
At what tier do we need to have a Anyway, it doesn't matter. Go on.
What was that, see?
Nothing.
What tier do we get? A swimsuit calendar? A pin-up calendar of all the characters? If we hit 2K, I will personally commission art of this one-shot. Okay. And now we pull out of this memory, and now we see Geron, Gentle, Sitlali, Analia, and we finally pan to Oka. Oka, tell us, who are you and what do you look like?
I already introduced myself. Oka looks about the same as they did earlier, except this time slightly more fucking stressed out. I think they have like their since we're in Morose again, they have this like thick fur jacket that kind of has this like big white like wolf fur that's kind of like sprouted around them, and they're like shivering a little, and they're like staring into the hole, and they're like, fucking hell, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Okay, and I don't think we get a flashback with Oka. There's something about them that's perhaps a little mysterious. Perhaps we can unlock later, depending on what happens in this session. So now the gang's all here. We're all gathered around this hole. What do the 5 of you do?
Geron is like crouched down at the hole, and he's kind of like poking at different sides of it, pulling out the chunks of ice. And they're like large chunks, like they don't quite fit in one of his hands. And he kind of tosses it back towards whoever happens to be nearest, knowing that you'll catch it. Not Sitlali, apparently. And we'll just say, pretty sure it was a frost worm. This ice, it's classic patterns.
There's ice here because we're in Morose. It was not a frost worm. It was obviously a bulette. You could see the claw marks on the edges of the tunnel.
Oka, I'm from here. This is not the normal ice that you would expect to see on Lake Zima.
It's normal ice everywhere. It's ice. It's not a frost worm.
Gentle, can you please tell them?
Oh, my guess not the same as yours. I thought it was like a purple bugbear.
A bugbear?
A purple what?
A bugbear. What if it's something that just got lost and is looking for help? Is that not what everyone else was thinking?
That's what you always say.
One day it's going to be right.
Don't think that's going to be today, but...
Yeah, because it's a bulette, obviously.
It's not a bulette.
It's obviously a remorhaz. Mercy could, like, take a bulette one-handed. Okay, you know that.
Yeah, but do you see the size of this tunnel? It's obviously a lot bigger, and bulettes travel in packs. Everyone knows that, but I wouldn't expect you to, Sitlali, considering you're not actually a hunter.
Okay, Oka, you need to chill, okay? Just because you are Mercy's right hand doesn't give you the right to act like you were better than everyone else here. We're all hunters, just like you.
I'll just remember that, when you're down and I have to stabilize your ass again.
Won't be necessary.
I think
Won't be
this
necessary.
calls for some tea together, everyone. I have a couple of herbs in my back pocket.
Gentle, we do not have time for tea. We don't have time for tea.
It's calming, though. It will help. The tension in this room has gotten a little uncomfortable for me personally.
I have a
think you
question
just
for
give
the
it to
GM.
Oka.
Yes, what is your question?
How deep is this tunnel? Like, how far down does it go?
It goes down at least 30 feet, almost straight down, and it seems to like sort of curve, almost like go sort of like parallel or horizontal for a bit, and it curves out of sight.
Geron is going to kind of like hop over into it a little bit, but like trying to stop themselves before they like slide all the way down with like their rapier. He's gonna like pull it out and just kind of like stick it into the side, trying to see further down if he can.
You stick your rapier in, and like little chunks of ice sort of ping into your eye, and you you get maybe like halfway down, maybe like 5 feet down, and you sort of peer and hang. You're sort of like dangling there, almost like a person with like an ice pick climbing up the side of an icy mountain. And sure enough, you see like about 30 feet down, it curves, and it seems to continue horizontally for a while. And you see those claw marks that Oka was talking about. You see other like little chunks of ice dislodged that makes you think it was a frostworm. And you also see, oddly enough, tufts of purple fur.
Okay, you're all never gonna believe this, but there's actually purple fur down here.
You're right, I don't believe this.
Yeah, I really stop fucking with us. This is not the time.
No, I'm not fucking with you, Oka.
Analia will push past them to go see.
Okay, how are you getting down, Analia?
Is there a way for Analia to jump in the tunnel?
There absolutely is. So just roll, make a d20 roll to see how cool it is. Make an athletics check.
Great.
Not to see if you'll succeed, but to see how cool it is.
Okay, perfect. Hold on. Let me grab what my athletics is. Excuse me, Saturn. I'm trying to roll dice. Thank you. 19.
Oh, it's so cool.
Oh,
you do
yeah.
like a superhero landing. So describe to me what it looks like as you just land to the bottom of this tunnel.
Yeah, Analia will just run and jump into the tunnel, land like in a superhero pose, like land in like a crouch, and we'll kind of just like look around and then call up, "Hey, there is purple fur down here."
I just sort of smile and look at y'all.
Can I see anything else down here? Because can I do an investigation to see if I can see anything else?
You don't even have to make a check. The dying light sort of filters like 30 feet down, sort of like filters like down past this, like where the tunnel evens out, sort of goes horizontal. So do you have like a torch or anything like in your inventory that you can light?
I think I do. I do.
Okay, wonderful. So you're gonna light that torch. It'll give you more vision. Okay.
Yeah.
You like light this torch and you like hold it out in front of you, and you see the tunnel just extends for as far as you can see, sort of into darkness, and it may or may not slope even deeper in. And your nose sort of twitches. You can smell the burning oil from your torch. You also smell something musty, like a animal of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like animal stench for sure. And the claw marks, you look, they definitely would be about the size of a bulette claw, but they could also look like, well, Analia, what's your theory?
Analia's theory is a dire troll, because of the claw marks and because of the size of dire trolls. One bad day, Mercy might have missed some hits. So Analia will call back up. The tunnel seems to keep going. It doesn't stop down here.
Hearing that, Geron is going to kind of pull out their rapier from the side of the wall and just let themselves like slide down into the tunnel.
Okay. You like kick up some like frost around like your boot, like a snowboarder, and you sort of skid to a stop next to Analia. What about the rest of you?
I think I'm just going to once again sort of walk very like a little excited actually, and just sort of jump in.
Okay. Are you trying to be cool, or you just trying to land and be efficient?
I think I'm trying to purposely look as I think I'm going to roll for cool because Dare loves that.
All right. Make either a performance or an athletics check for me.
Let's see which one of those is better. Oh boy, they're not great either way. That's a 7 again. This is great.
Gentle, describe why it's not as cool as you want it to be.
Like, I think it's one of those things where you, in your head, you're like, I'm going to just jump and like try to slide down effortlessly, hands behind my back. And I don't think it goes that way. And I think I just sort of like end up going sideways, sliding down. So it just looks just a little off.
I need Geron and Analia, the two of you, to make a dex save.
13.
Okay.
12.
Both of you are sort of like, your feet are kicked out from under you as Gentle horizontally skids down, and maybe like the three of you fall into a pile, all tangled up in each other.
My bad. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, it's okay. And Analia will get up and then help the other two up.
Oh, thank you. I'll make a soothing balm if you end up bruised after this.
Okay.
Thanks.
Analia's very excited about all of the medicinal stuff that Gentle can do.
Geron is going to yell out into the tunnel back towards where Sitlali and Oka are. Are you coming or what?
After you.
Oh no, please, I insist.
And Oka, they like bunch their fur around themselves. And they're like, so fucking cold. And they get in and slide down kind of on their heels. And I'll roll for cool too, just because we all are now.
All right, performance or athletics?
Well, I'm not going to do performance because I have a -2 charisma. Actually, it's funnier because I rolled an 18 -2, so it's just kind of that they're an asshole, that it's like, oh, they're a little bit too cool, you know? So it's a 16 instead of an 18.
Yeah, your facial expression doesn't change as you fall 30 feet and you like do a landing, but your face is like, yeah, as you like pick yourself back up. Which just leaves Sitlali up top. Sitlali, what's the play here?
I would actually like to kind of look around and see if there are like any humanoid footprints other than Mercy's, because I'm much better at people than monsters, and I would really rather it be people.
I'm so sorry. I'm not even going to ask for a check there. The only signs you see are like clear, like humanoid struggling, you know, like boot scuff marks, you know, and like, no blood, which is interesting. But no like a second pair of people footprints.
Why does it always have to be monsters? And then I will also roll for cool.
Okay. I'm assuming performance.
Yes, even though no one is looking. 23.
Oh my god. How do you blow everyone else out of the water?
I was not anticipating. Sitlali, they just kind of, I think they just kind of like do like a superhero slide down and like land it's very elegant. And they're just kind of like, did anyone see? Nope. Cool.
Okay.
That one's just for me.
All 5 of you are down here now. What's the play?
Oka will cast a little orb of light in their hand, where they just kind of like flex, and the light will just kind of appear, a little ball in their hand, and they'll hold it up, narrow their eyes, and keep moving. I mean, there's only one way forward, so I think they maybe like step over or around the other hounds that were maybe like laid out from Gentle's approach, and start walking.
Yeah, I think Geron is going to try, as they're walking as well, or is going to try to be quieter about it, like trying not to like crunch ice underfoot or anything like that.
I think Analia is just going to walk forward with their torch and try and catch up to Oka.
Yeah, I'm just following along. I think I'm just mixing and like sort of almost stimming, if you will, with like little herbs and trying to like ground stuff together.
And then Sitlali is the back, and just over the table for GM reference, keeping an eye out because my passive is 22. So just kind of trying to vibe check the tunnel and see, make sure that like it's stable and that nothing is like going to surprise us.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
Analia will realize that Sitlali is a little bit behind, and take a different torch out of their backpack, and light it and give it to Sitlali.
They will take it.
And then continue walking.
Very smart. The 5 of you march carefully, stealthily, alert, right? Like your ears like perked for any sounds of struggle, any smell of blood, right? Any like shadows flickering against the wall, any tremors in the ground. You're being very careful. As the 5 of you pick your way like down this like gently sloping tunnel, it's quite slippery. You have to be careful as you go down, but you're also making haste. And I think you're struck by, the deeper down you go, the more quiet it gets. And there's no more wind chill, right? Which is nice. But there's sort of like a deep, bone aching, like ever-present cold starts to settle in as you get into the depths of this frozen lake. I don't know about you, but jumping into a frozen lake in the middle of winter, even if you're not in the water itself, is quite cold. So at this point, you can sort of see your breath coming out in front of you, like lit by like the heat radiating off of like Sitlali and oh my goodness, Analia's torches. You can see your breaths coming out in like this like dense opaque fog until it like drifts up and sort of like splashes against like the ceiling hanging above you and sort of like drifts out from behind you. And this tunnel system is maybe like 10 to 15 feet wide, maybe 10 to 15 feet tall, with huge gouge marks. It's irregular, you know what I mean? Like, it seems like something big definitely clawed its way through this tunnel and created this tunnel. So what do the 5 of you say to each other or do as you continue walking down this hall?
How's everyone doing in terms of heat? Is everyone feeling nice and warm? I have some
I
peppermint.
am so fucking cold.
Do you want my cloak? I'm actually doing fine. I'm used to like ocean cold, so this is pretty chill, actually.
I'm fine. I don't need it.
If you change your mind, I'm right here.
Knowing that Oka is pretty cold and they won't admit it. Now, Geron doesn't have like a torch or anything, but they have candles. So they're going to take a candle out and like light it and then stay like relatively close to Oka, but like not trying to make it obvious that they're trying to stay close to Oka in order to keep them warm.
Analia will notice this and like kind of come around on the other side.
You see nothing.
You perceive nothing. We're good. We're just standing here.
Oka perceives absolute. They no thoughts, head empty. No thoughts, head monsters. Are there multiple branches in the tunnel?
No, this one just keeps going for a bit.
Do the footprints of Mercy, if there are any footprints at all, do they change? Like, does it seem like she is struggling more or less in specific areas, or?
The struggle remains the same. She puts up a hell of a fight. You see sort of like gouge marks from her sword, sort of like slashing all around. But again, there is no blood at all, which is odd. Comforting maybe, but odd.
I guess she's been holding her own.
Doesn't make sense though. Here's a weird question from a blood hunter. Can I smell blood in the air?
Interesting. Okay. It seems like at this point, maybe all 5 of you can just make like a perception check for me.
Fucking nat 20. The divinity in the beginning. Here we are.
Ooh, natural
24.
18.
I got a 22. Math's
Oh,
hard.
what is Dare's face?
That was the third 7 in a row. I retire this dice for the rest of the night.
Yeah, they're in
This
dice
one's
jail. I don't
done.
know what you're doing.
Is that loaded?
I wish
What?
I wish it was loaded in a better way than only getting me low rolls.
I wish this was Vegas, because 3 7s is a good sign there, but not here. I'm so sorry, my friend. Okay. The 5 of you, minus Gentle, I suppose, who's maybe you're like enamored by the spices that you're tinkering with, see, especially you, Analia, at the head of the group. You see the tunnel widen. Maybe you see it like 40 feet ahead of you, because I think it sheds dim light pretty far ahead of you. You see it widen into what appears to be a chamber with even higher of a ceiling beyond it, right? But the tunnel sort of forms like a hole and like it sort of pops out into a chamber beyond that. And in the chamber beyond, you can sort of see also like holes in the wall that seem to be other tunnels branching off now. With a natural 20, Oka, the ground is faintly shaking. If it weren't a natural 20, I don't think you would have sensed it. It's coming from up ahead. Something's approaching. But it's real faint. It's relatively still far away.
Ruh-roh. I think Oka stops, maybe so much so that whoever's behind them bumps into their back a little, and they go like, "Stop! Don't fucking touch me."
You stop.
I didn't mean to fucking touch you. You stopped.
It's because there's something's coming.
Where?
The ground. And Oka's actually going to move forward, drawing their blade in the direction that they feel the tremors coming from, almost like tracking the movement that way.
It's coming from beyond the chamber. So it's one of the tunnels that sort of branch out from this central chamber, let's say, that this particular tunnel dumps you out into. Do the rest of you follow? Go ahead.
I have a question before we follow. Do the struggle marks follow to that chamber?
They do. It's sort of like a one-way path, and yeah, they do.
Okay, great. Then yes, I will follow.
Is there anything else in this chamber other than just ice and more tunnels?
From your vantage point in this tunnel, you cannot see.
Okay.
You have to get into the chamber or closer.
Okay, following Oka with my rapier out.
Okay?
Analia will unsheath their scimitar.
Okay.
And also, in the other hand, have their hand axe.
All right. Sitlali?
I'm gonna pull my shield from off my back because I cast one-handed, and kind of take the rear still. Yeah.
Okay. Gentle? I think at this point, Gentle, you're noticing your comrades like getting ready to fight.
I guess fighting's happening. I just sort of like stand up, and you can like straight, and you can see, yeah, Gentle's 6'2", and I just sort of like stretch, just like make sure I'm limber. That's it.
Oka's so fucking mad that Oka's so mad that they're the shortest bitch in here. They hate it. They fucking hate it.
How tall is Oka again?
5'8".
Oh, that's why you're so angry. That's 5'8".
All the anger.
You're just it's condensed. It's when you shake a little can of Pepsi. Like that's all their anger. All their anger.
That's so funny.
That's hilarious. Okay, the five of you reach the end of this tunnel and you see the chamber ahead of you. There's maybe a 5-foot drop into the chamber. And the chamber looks made, for lack of a better word, right? It looks like it's older than the tunnel that this drills into, okay? Much older, at least several years older than the making of this tunnel. And he sees multiple other tunnels. It's quite a vast chamber, maybe like, I'm not gonna do exact feet because we're gonna do theater of the mind here, but quite vast. You sort of like look up, you see like this huge vaulted ceiling. It's almost like a dome, like a sphere, sort of that if you hopped out of this tunnel entrance, they sort of like slide to the bottom of this chamber, and you see like various other tunnels just everywhere, even up in the ceiling, like off to the left, like probably like a dozen or more other like holes drilled in that sort of all just like off, like branch off to other places under the ice. And Oka, the tremoring is coming from one of the tunnels directly in front of you. What do the five of you do?
When you say it looks made, do you mean like furniture?
No. You see a little antique desk.
Oh, I see. I was like, the Bulette can read.
No.
Oh my god.
It looks like it was like a den. Okay, for lack of a better word. Like it was carved. It wasn't just like like someone was like digging. It's like almost like a nest or something.
Oh, so
like a
there's
central
like a TV.
chamber. Yeah, you see a TV in the corner. You see a guy flipping through the channels. Hey, get out of here! No, it's just a dome.
Sitlali will turn to Gentle and go, I hope it's the fucking owl bear.
Exactly. See, we could have a new friend.
Yeah, that, sure. Friend, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You have, may I say this, Quinn, or not Quinn? Sorry, Sitlali. Are you having a bad day? You just seem a little upset.
say that we're all having a bad day,
I'm
Gentle.
not.
I
I'm
mean,
doing okay.
Mercy's. You're never having a bad day, Gentle, and I love
I
that
have
for you.
I have infinite faith in Mercy. You should too. And then I hand you like a little bit of peppermint. It'll help you feel warmer.
I'm not cold. They say in their teeth are they're shivering.
A lot of you are too proud for your own good. And she'll say it not with malice, just like an observation. She'll say it just with an observation.
I nod at that. Just
Geron is just going to ignore that comment and just start walking very like slowly towards the tunnel.
Okay. The one where the shaking's coming from, presumably?
Yeah.
Okay. Geron, you sort of, you like drop out of the tunnel that you're currently in, you skid like 5 feet to the bottom, and you start approaching, like walking past this chamber. Oka?
Yeah, I think Oka would have they're beelining it a little. I think normally they would take things a little bit slower, but there's like a low panic, I think, to a lot of what they're doing right now. And as they feel something, you know, they also like slide down, probably like stride for stride with Geron, and are like, you know, they look at all the tunnels, like noting them, counting them, confused, but they like make the beeline for the one on the opposite side.
Analia will follow.
ditto.
Sitlali? Okay. Analia, Sitlali, and Gentle, the three of you follow Geron and Oka across this chamber, cautiously, weapons drawn, right? You're not letting down your guard here. And now off 5 of you can feel it, like the tremoring, right? I misspoke earlier, it's not approaching, but it's like emanating from somewhere deeper within, right? Like a tremoring, like occasionally the ground will shake, you know, like some sort of massive battle is happening, or some sort of massive beast is continuously stomping its feet on the ground. Like one of the two, probably. But from deeper within this frozen lake. And what's interesting to the 5 of you, as now that you're in the chamber proper and looking at all these other tunnels, it doesn't really make sense. The tunnels are of different sizes, of different shapes. Some of them are only about like 5 feet wide. One of them is like a foot, like a mole-sized hole, you know? Like several of them are like quite large, like very big, like frostworm or remorhaz big, right? But others are like people-sized. There's no rhyme or reason to the shape and size of these tunnels. So what do the 5 of you do or say as you reach the tunnel that Oka is leading you toward and start to climb into it?
Does anyone need like a boost up? Anyone need help getting up there?
Geron is going to look at Oka when Gentle says that.
I don't need any fucking help. And they they decide to fucking stab, like they use the like ice pick style to swing themselves up and over.
I think you do. Your short-powered spite and malice carries you up to the lip of this thing, and you like heave yourself into this tunnel, which is maybe this is relieving and maybe not so relieving. The same size as the tunnel you were dumped into this chamber from. So whatever this is, you know, and you also see the signs of like Mercy struggling. It's the same beast, right? That like.
And I think just because they need things to move faster, Oka offers their arm over the lip to help anyone else up.
I'll take it. It's easier.
Yeah.
Geron is going up on his own.
Yeah, Analia is going up, and then we'll, like, when they are up, extend their hand to Sitlali.
I will take Analia's hand.
And Analia will hoist Sitlali up with them.
Okay. Like this, the 5 of you continue down. Sorry, Gentle? Did I leave you behind by accident?
No, I'm just laughing at how random the vibes are.
I wonder where you are. Perhaps is it a monster nest? Who knows? The 5 of you continue down this hall, and you are struck by, aside from the occasional trembling, how quiet everything is. You don't hear like faint screaming. You don't hear Mercy being like, "Stop it, you beast! I'm gonna kill you!" You don't hear like a roaring of anything. Just occasional tremoring.
Have
You
we
don't
felt this? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I
No,
was
go
just
ahead.
curious. Have we felt any of this like kind of like tremoring before from like beasts in our conquests?
I won't even make you roll for it. It's sort of just like there's something big happening at the end of this tunnel that's creating this tremoring. It's not like a special tremor worm or something, right? It's not like the signature tremor of like, you know, like a 5e tremor worm or whatever. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that.
For sure. Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oka's mind is also racing about all of the other tunnels too. And I would maybe even like to use my Hunter's Bane feature to have advantage on intelligence checks to recall information about monsters. Insofar as to, like, are there monsters in Morose that live in community dens? Are there, like, what's going on here?
Okay, so why don't you make a intelligence check with advantage?
22, baby.
With a 22, you can ask 3 questions about the situation at hand, and I'll answer honestly.
Is this a nest with many monsters in it?
No.
Does this nest belong to the thing that we are chasing right now?
Yes.
Can I hold my last question?
Yes, you may. Okay. What did the rest of you do as you continue down this tunnel, or are you just like trying to get to the end of where this reaches?
Is there any instances of Morose communes digging down underneath the lake at all? Is that normal, or are we exclusively a community above the lake?
Almost exclusively above. Though, because you are Morosan, you've heard rumor of people who are exiled from the communes, who can't go anywhere because of the wrongs they've committed. So they go underground, or rather under lake, under ice. I think that's the closest rumor that you would have. That would make sense with what you're seeing here.
Yeah, my thought is that it might not be monsters that have made this den, but it's possible that it was people. Especially given the different sizes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe the people made it and then monsters took it over.
Maybe they're coexisting.
Analia looks around at the scratch marks on the walls and looks at Gentle.
They
I
might
don't-
have helped dig.
I don't think they're coexisting.
I'm an optimist.
You know, Gentle, sometimes I wish I lived in the world that you do.
I think you'd enjoy it. You could use a little bit more peace.
Regrettably, I have to agree with Oka.
You could also use a little bit more peace.
Don't tell me what to do.
It wasn't a...
Okay, we need to keep
They-
moving,
They
Man.
weren't telling you what to do.
we need to keep moving, or Mercy's not going to be in one piece. Okay, so let's go.
Okay. The 5 of you continue walking. Sitlali, because your passive perception is so high, you are the one who notices this noise that the rest of you would not be able to hear. A noise of almost like a furred paw pads or feet going over, crunching over ice, coming from like in front of you, and you smell fur, and you smell anger, and you hear a noise that's just sort of like coming from the darkness of the tunnel in front of you.
I'm gonna stop and take a power stance with my shield and just quietly be like, dead ahead, something coming, something coming.
Yeah, I think we have like I would love to think that we have some kind of like formation, you know, like the five of us, even though we've been bickering this whole time, but we just like, as soon as Sitlali goes, like Oka's right. Probably at like Geron's flank, like right behind Analia.
Yeah, Analia will decide that having both their hand axe and scimitar is not the smartest idea and take out their shields, put their hand axe away, and just have their scimitar and their shield. And stand kind of parallel.
Okay.
I think I'm going to assume a very like neutral stance of like one hand out just in case it needs a little piece. And I do want to have just an insight roll ready, like just to vibe check it whenever I need to.
Okay, Geron?
I will stand by Oka's side, rapier at the ready.
Okay. As the 5 of you brace in this tunnel, now all of you hear like a kind of noise that gets louder and louder, and sort of a of like a padded feet paws approaching your party. And now the ground is shaking in earnest, not from whatever thing is happening deeper within, but from this immediate threat approaching you, and from your outstretched torch, maybe 40 feet in front of you, the 5 of you see a massive white-furred, lanky, humanoid-ish creature that's got these like big tusks, like sticking out of their face. And the 5 of you realize what you're looking at because you're all monster hunters. It's a fucking yeti, my friend, and it's like icy blue gaze. It looks angry, and it looks confused. And it looks just as shocked to see the 5 of you as you are to see it, and it draws. And you see its like glowing blue eyes are trained on the torch as its eyes get like grow wide with fear. And it stops. And I think there's like a moment of tension as the 5 of you monster hunters stare down this monster. What do the 5 of you do?
Insight check.
Okay, roll that insight check.
That is a 14.
14, you can ask 2 questions about this yeti, and I will answer honestly.
Does this yeti want to hurt us?
Okay, want is such a hard word. It doesn't want to. It doesn't. But it might not be able to help itself. You see sort of like rage, sort of like roiling in its eyes.
And then question 2.
Okay?
Can we help it without killing it?
Yes!
Okay.
It continues looking at the fire, and the more it looks at the fire, the angrier it seems to get. Yes, Oka.
I turned my
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I just turned my torch out because I see this happening.
I put mine out as well.
So the only thing lighting your path now is Oka's light. Yes, Oka.
I also like to think that at this point, we get like an assessment from Gentle, you know? So Oka's waiting for that assessment of bludgeon, bleed, or die, I think.
It can be helped, so nothing. Make sure it's nothing that we can't heal.
Okay.
So no killing.
Can you
Geron,
talk to it?
Got the vibes. You can try.
Where the fuck is Mercy?
All right.
okay. Oka, that's not helpful. Geron is going to put their rapier, like sheath it, and then walk slowly towards the yeti, trying to like mimic its sounds as best as they can.
I'm gonna need you to do it. Come on, Hamna. Oh god, you got this. It seems to be getting mad that you're copying it. Sort of like, stop copying me. Like,
God, noticing that it's getting mad, he is going to stop. But kind of like he's been like stepping forward this whole time, slowly, and is gonna try and put a hand on the yeti's like arm.
are you trying to do anything to try to comfort or support this yeti?
Just gonna pet the yeti gently.
Make
stroke
a-
its fur.
Make an animal handling check.
All right. I don't even know if I'm good at that. All right, let's see. 20, unnatural though. A monstrous 20.
Okay, a monstrous 20. It opens up to you. As you stroke it's like, mad. And this is the first time I think any of you have heard a monster speak common.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Hi.
Hi.
I think at this point, Analia will put her scimitar away.
I need help. But help closed.
Help closed. What do you mean?
Closed. Not here. Closed. And the Yeti bangs on like the ice walls, and you see cracks form in the walls.
But Analia, like very panically, just goes, "What do you need help with? Maybe we can help."
Help. Anger. Help. Angry.
Oh, bitch, same.
Can I like look at this yeti to see if like they're hurt in any way, like physically?
I won't even make you roll for it. You give it a once over. It's not hurt physically, but it looks hurt emotionally.
Analia will take a second to process the information.
Are Yetis emissaries or are they monsters?
They are monsters. Yes, they're monsters.
Is this monstrous rage something that Oka particularly would be familiar with, or is this different?
No, this is not like a special like curse. This isn't a curse. There's no magical origin to this rage. Oka, the closest thing you get looking at it, something about it, oh God, clicks with you. You look at this Yeti, and this Yeti looks at you, and you see this Yeti has anger issues. And I think there's a moment where that like the eclipse happens and you cling, and that realization clicks into place because you're such an angry person. So I think you of everyone in this group are most equipped to realize that.
Thank you, Connie. I fucking hate that.
Hey, anger, don't like, need help. Very like Hulk. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like its speech. Yes, Gentle.
I'm making that calming tea I mentioned earlier.
Okay. You start
That's
to brew
all.
it just straight up on the side.
I am absolutely.
Okay. Sitlali?
You tried like that thing where you like breathe deeply or whatever?
Okay, that doesn't ever actually help.
Shut up, I know, but like I'm trying.
I mean, is it helpful to offer things that haven't worked before?
I mean, just let me do my thing.
Can I
Let me do my
insight check to
Okay.
see if their anger is coming from like fear or being frightened?
Yeah, make an insight check, just like Gentle did. And
Which
anyone
one
who
do you
wants
go?
to, aside from Gentle, because you already rolled it, can roll
I'm
insight to see if you can
gonna
ask
use
questions.
a lucky point because I don't
Okay.
like what I rolled.
Get
I'm
your
gonna
user-
do it
great.
as well.
I
Awesome.
am also going
Hell
to
yeah.
roll.
So I have a 18 insight.
18, you get to ask 3 questions. Geron, what did you get?
9.
You get to ask 1 question. Sitlali,
17.
you get to ask 3. Oka, did you roll for it?
I didn't roll.
Okay, that's fine. You don't want to
I'm
look
just
into
feeling too attacked.
Okay, so these are the questions you can hold about this creature, or honestly about the situation, it's fine, until the end of the scene.
Okay, my question, I'm gonna hold my other 2, but my
Okay.
question is this anger coming from being frightened?
No, this seems to be
Okay.
issue it grapples with.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool,
It seems to be
cool.
like a long-term issue it has.
Great.
Does the Yeti seem lonely?
Yes. Sitlali, did you want to ask one of your questions as well, or are you going to hold it?
I'm gonna hold it for a little bit.
Okay.
I feel like these questions are also telling us about Oka.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's long-term issues stems
my
from
God.
childhood of neglect.
Rancid energy.
Oh, I do have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Does it seem hungry or like thirsty or like it is in need of a substance?
No. Well, okay. Actually, as you say that, it says, "Calm juice closed. Calm juice closed," and it bangs on the wall again, and it causes a minor crater, and all five of it feel like the ground tremble, and it feel like ice cracks, like a dusting of frost shudders down from the ceiling.
Can we maybe intuit that the Yeti was making the shaking from having a temper tantrum outside of the closed juice shop?
It was not the Yeti. The shaking was something else. It comes from deeper. What do the five of you do as it seems to start to lose control of its anger again? Yes, Geron.
Oh, Geron is going to, at the mention of close, Geron is going to like sidestep around the Yeti, try to go further into the tunnel to see if is the tunnel closed?
Okay, I think the Yeti lets you pass. As you walk past it, and you reach the end of the tunnel. Do you light a torch, or do you cast light as well? How do you light the way? Because it's pitch black in here.
All I have is candles. I light a candle.
Oh, a tiny candle, maybe shield the flame away from this Yeti to like not infuriate it further. And you reach the end of this tunnel, which widens just like earlier into a chamber. Except this chamber doesn't have other it has a couple of other tunnels coming from around it, but it's much smaller. And there is a flat wall in front of you. And there are words etched on the wall in a language you understand because you're from it, in Morosi. There are words etched on this wall. And the words read, "For those who seek to mend their hearts, yet struggle with accepting help, have no fear, approach the wall and describe your darkest self."
Connie, how dare you?
Are you doing this on purpose? So seeing that, John is going to take a pause for a moment because they just kind of sigh and they're like, "Oh, fuck." And they sort of memorize quickly the words on the wall, turn back, and repeat them to the group. I found that written on a wall in the tunnel back there.
And Mercy?
Mercy's not there.
Should we take the Yeti into the tunnel and have them reveal their secrets to the wall?
We could certainly try. I think it's supposed to mend your heart or something, so...
Well, they're angry, so maybe that'll mend their heart.
Sounds like a scam I'd run.
We can try it.
My tea is almost ready.
Maybe
so
tea first
both.
and then...
Yeah.
the
Tea first and then the
spilling.
wall.
Yeah.
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 Should I roll something for effectiveness of this tea?
No, you don't have to. I think you know what you're doing. You brew this tea, and do you take up this teacup and like hand it to the Yeti?
I think it's slightly bigger than a teacup. I think I may have grabbed, because I also have cook's utensils. So I think I may have had like a small like pot for like a soup, and I offer it up of like, this might be better for you.
Calm juice.
It might help. I don't know if it's the kind you're used to, but it's its own flavor.
And it starts to like slough some of like this tea
Body
down
of
its throat.
nightmare.
And it like shoves the pot like back in your hands.
Gentle, what did you put inside the tea?
It slumps against the tunnel wall and it starts to fall asleep into a peaceful, deep slumber.
Wait, that was it?
Yeah. Sometimes I said calming tea. You just take a lot of really good, like nice healing things, a dash of a tranquilizer, and it works.
A tranquilizer?
I put a
Oh.
dash in there normally, even for like tea for everyone. It like helps the muscles relax. You just
Wait,
may be susceptible to it.
Okay, but it's a Yeti, so you must have put like a lot.
I didn't. I put the usual amount. Like
Gentle,
it's
I'm
fine.
sorry. Are you saying that you serve us tea with tranquilizers in it?
like
Not
on the regular.
tranquilizers. No, it's just a dash of like like to make your muscles like relax. I promise, it's fine.
Yeah, this doesn't
It's-
sound fine.
It gets the job done. Everyone relax.
Consent is important.
I offered the calming tea to the troll. It calmed the troll.
Insight check.
The troll's 100% honest.
Listen. You don't even I'll let you roll it, but you don't have to. Gentle's telling the truth, and this Yeti seems happy in its sleep. It's calm now. It's asleep. It's
was
no longer awake and angry.
a waste of a natural 20. But
Oh no!
Gentle can lie.
Indeed, a waste.
Yeah.
Do the
Gentle
five of
makes
you
medicines like old, like how they used to make medicine. It's just a copious amount of anything they can find.
It's just drugs.
my
little
medicine's
bit.
magic, dude. I don't.
Should we keep going, but also maybe Analia will pause for a second because they know that the group is going to make fun of them. Should
Aw.
we?
If you suggest picking up that Yeti, you
No,
are carrying it all on your own.
no, it wasn't what I was going to say. I was going to say maybe we should all go talk to the wall.
Why?
I don't want to do that.
Why not?
I'll do it.
Geron kind of like looks at Oka, but then quickly looks back. I don't want to do that.
We can all go privately so that no one can hear your conversations with the wall.
I mean, I can probably still hear your conversation with the wall.
You're not helping.
Do you think Mercy talked to the wall and then got like phased through it or something?
No, I just think that maybe it'll help our group dynamic and maybe that'll help us be better fighters.
We're good fighters. We
can be
don't
Fighters.
we don't argue when we're fighting though.
And Analia will once again say we could be better fighters.
Let's at least go see the wall. This is the weirdest day that I feel like I've ever had.
And Analia will skip ahead and go to the wall.
Okay, the five of you end up in front of this wall, and it's exactly as Geron described. There's script written on it that asks you to describe your darkest self. What do the five of you do?
Does the path of mercy that we have been following, path of mercy, the path of mercy that we've been following this whole time lead through the wall?
It sure does.
Mother.
Analia, I hate it when you're right.
I mean,
He like shrugs. They like
maybe like only one person has to do it.
I vote Gentle.
I don't think Gentle has a darkest self.
Exactly. So I vote Gentle.
Fine, I'll do it. It's easy.
Analia will step back and let Oka take the spot in front of the wall.
Oka stares up at the wall, decidedly not like trying really hard not to look at anyone else. And they look at the drag marks through the wall. And they look at the script that they technically can't read. So if this is like some elaborate fucking prank, and I think they even say that out loud. They say, if this is some fucking elaborate prank that Mercy is pulling on us, I quit. I swear. My darkest self is me.
There's a moment of silence where maybe, Oka, you feel really, really dumb. But then, it's like time and space for you, Oka, collapse. And it's like you're on like a moving walkway. You're getting drawn to the walk. But you don't remember, you don't realize, you don't feel like you're smacking into it. And you sort of land elsewhere. But before we get to that, the rest of you see Oka just vanish.
It worked. And Analia will press their hand against the wall just to see if they all have to do it. And assume that the wall's solid. Yeah. Hey, this is an individual activity for group building. It'll be good for us. And Analia will stand in front of the wall and go, my darkest self is the self that takes the path of the championship.
Space and time collapse like a thread being touched, the ends of the threads being touched together, and you disappear and you reappear elsewhere. Geron, Gentle, Sitlali.
Who wants to go first? Well, I guess third.
Do we have to?
Yes.
Sitlali will trudge up to it, put a hand on it. My darkest self was at the courts.
You wait for it, look around, and then space and time collapse. You end up elsewhere. Geron, Gentle.
You first? We can like for it.
It's okay. I'll go. And Geron walks up to the wall. Just kind of okay. My darkest self is the version of me that never forgives Oka.
You vanish, leaving only Gentle in front of this wall of reckoning. Gentle, what do you say?
I take off my mask for a second, and for the audience, Gentle's gorgeous. Like incredibly cute. And I think I just look and I say, my darkest version is the one where I'm not able to help my friends. And then I put my mask back on.
As you put your mask back on, you disappear. And you reappear in the same area where your party is. The five of you, Oka first, and then each of the other hounds materialize in. Find yourselves looking at yourselves? What? You're in an icy tunnel system where the ice here is so bright. They seem to thrum with their own light here, and reflective that you see yourselves reflected 1,000 times in the various angled panes, like a prism being cut into, right? And you see like your distorted faces. You see yourselves on the ceiling, like all around you, sort of like cracked ice, like that scene from Ice Age. I don't know if this makes any sense, but there's a kind of a rough hewn tunnel that sort of seems to lead deeper in. And now the five of you feel the shaking that you sensed earlier here in earnest. It's somewhere you're getting a lot closer. You're almost within spitting distance of it now. It's just a couple of turns and twists up ahead. You just have to get through this crystal reflective cave. What do the five of you do?
I think when Oka gets transported there, they almost get stuck. Like, they see themselves in the mirror and they flinch and they look. And they are stuck staring, I think, until Analia, like, pops in behind them, in which case they also jump again and they go... And I think you were muted, Jude.
No! She goes, they go, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you.
And they look like they were about to say something mean, and it kind of catches in their teeth. It's fine.
Analia will watch as the others materialize.
When Geron comes through, he kind of like stumbles a little as he's coming and like trips and like almost like falls.
Into Oka?
Yeah, obviously. Oka catches them.
Terrible.
Watch where you're... And then they blush because they're an idiot. And they like just write Geron back up. Watch where you're going.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Okay. I assume the Gentle and Sitlali also sort of like burst into existence next to you.
Hi.
Okay, now that group therapy is done, shall we please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good.
Can we
I
see
think-
which? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think Sitlali puts a hand very tentatively on Oka's shoulder.
Oka looks at the hand and then looks at Sitlali as though they do not trust what's happening, but they don't go to move it.
And I think very awkwardly, as if this has never happened before, because it probably
Because
hasn't.
it has not.
They are going to attempt to hug them.
Oka kind of does this. And then they pat Sitlali's back.
Oh,
We're
are
gonna-
we group hugging?
No.
Not group hugging, and immediately like pushes back off.
I don't know what this is, but we're gonna find Mercy.
Yes.
We have to, and we will.
Can we see a clear path into the tunnel?
Clear as objective, there is a single path, but it winds and it twists.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The five of you set off, and as you do, like cautiously, like looking at like your own selves reflected in the shards around you, you know, like you walk, your breath coming out in these like opaque plumes in front of you. And the five of you notice other things, other figures being reflected back at you in this prism. And on that, we're going to cut to break. We will be breaking for 10 minutes. We will be back. It is 7:48 here, which means we'll be back at 7:58. Just 2 minutes shy of the turn of the hour. We hit 1K! Woo, woo! How exciting. That means all of the incentives have been unlocked. Enjoy those character playlists in chat. All of y'all have inspo. We're gonna do those mercy memories, don't you worry, when we come back from break. We love you all so much. Thank you to everyone for helping us hit our goal. Can we hit our next stretch goal, which is 100 over? We're almost halfway there to 1100. We will see you in 10 minutes, and peace. Hello, 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 everybody. It is so good to see all of your digital non-existent faces in the chat. Welcome back to the final third of Mercy, Mercy Me, which is our final session of Shoot Your One Shot, which is what we're doing this for. We're raising money. We hit our 1K goal. We hit our 1.1K goal. What? Can we hit 1,200 by the end of the night? That is our final goal for the night. No more goalpost shifting. We are $50, $60 away from that. With that out of the way, you can use exclamation point donate to get the donate link in chat. Let's hop right back into the action with Geron, Oka, Gentle, Sitlali, Analia. The five of you find yourself in a reflective crystal cavern with a single path, winding itself deeper and deeper into the bowels of this frozen lake. As you walk, perhaps your hands on the sheaths of your weapons, guarded, your ears perked, your noses ready to sniff out any trouble, the five of you see figures flitting across your vision in the prismatic reflections that are not your own faces, and we will start with Geron. Your eye catches some movement on your periphery, and you turn perhaps to look at it. And I need you to tell me, Geron, what image of a regret, a deep regret you've had in your life, runs through this reflection in the ice?
I think Geron, as they look into this ice, they see their hand as Oka's hand leaves his. And it's an image of Oka walking away. And Geron, you can see for a moment, has kind of hesitates as if they're going to say something, and then they don't. And in that silence, Oka leaves.
The silence is deafening, Geron, as you see your fingertips just brush away. And I think everyone sees this, right? Reflected 1,000 times over. You see Geron and Oka's hands grazing each other, their fingertips, and then just disappearing. But before the rest of the four of you can react to that in any way, either to comfort or cajole, Sitlali, you turn and oh God, a horrible fear just sinks to the bottom of your gut as you see an image of a regret run through this ice from your past. What is it?
I think it's the last look they ever got at the outskirts of Blackspire right before they left the courts.
And whose disappointed or just negatively charged expression sits with you the most on the shores of the Black Tongue?
Honestly, I think it's everyone's.
Everyone you've ever known, everyone you've ever grown up with, everyone you've ever called family. What is the look on their faces? Is it disappointment, anger, longing, grief? What is it?
It's mostly disappointment and anger. And I think, if I may, there is
Go ahead.
a phrase. You were supposed to be the one. And that just kind of echoes quietly.
The five of you hear whispered in raven speech, "You were supposed to be the one. You were supposed to be the one." Just sort of like echoing all around this chamber, seeming to spin around Sitlali in particular. And you see the faces of people that the rest of you don't recognize, right? But you do see the roiling, swampy, brackish waters of the Black Tongue getting smaller and smaller until these figures on the bank disappear and drift off like driftwood, flotsam and jetsam, in the history that Sitlali has left behind. And you feel the entity that gives you your power tug and grieve against the confines of your soul. You hear its voice go, "No, no, forget, no," as it mourns what perhaps you are unable to mourn. And now we go to Analia. As, oh God, the Black Tongue fades away and a different image takes its place. What regret from Analia's past runs through this ice?
You see an image of Analia pressing a kiss to a half-elven woman's head and leaving the gates of the championship.
Okay. And this half-elf woman who's sort of standing there limbed by the gates, right? What's the expression on her face?
They've both been crying. They've both been just heavily sobbing. As Analia doesn't know when they'll be back, if they'll ever return.
And I think all of you here in Nabalish, like this woman, like as her face grows smaller and smaller as you leave her, Analia, y'all hear her voice go, "Please, we can make this work, can't we? Just, please, don't leave me. Please."
And Analia doesn't look back.
And as like Analia's gaze fades away from this woman, so does this woman. Now we go to Gentle. This woman's face is replaced by an image from your memory, Gentle. What is it?
Gentle's biggest regret. I think it was they accidentally, like, it's an entire town. They look just mad and annoyed. And you see, I think, a younger Gentle, probably like 12, like with like holding a couple of like herbs and stuff. Of I thought it would help everyone. And people are like just sick and feeling ill, and they're just mad.
Okay, you're holding this mortar and pestle, maybe, and like this like 12-year-old Gentle saying, "I thought it would help everyone," and all of you just hear voices of like dozens of different people say, "No, you didn't help. You hurt us. You hurt us all. Get out! Get out of here! I never want to see your face again." "I thought you were gonna help me, but I just feel sick, and when am I gonna get better?" "Shh, careful. No, Liu, come here. This person can't help you. They're just a child who doesn't know anything. They don't know how to help anyone." All these voices just sort of like swirling around this chamber. But you hang your head in shame. Gentle. Which leads us to Oka. As these voices disappear and this 12-year-old Gentle's face fades away, what is replaced?
I think for a minute it almost seems like it's starting again. Like, and Oka's maybe like, "Oh, it's not mine. Like, I'm not here. It's Geron's again," because it's their hands. And then it fades out, and it's just before. And it's Oka's voice that rings out first. And they say, "Just go. You mean nothing to me." And it's their own voice that rattles around and rattles around. And then their face as they turn away. And then their face changes. And the voice changes. It changes from common to Tsu. And the face is not one familiar to anyone. And instead of Oka speaking to Geron, the same words are spoken to them.
And you all hear a very deep and almost like regal voice ring out in Tsu, and it says, "Just go. You mean nothing to me." And I think like the image that flashes is of Oka's face, a different, very different Oka, who maybe has like just like grief and heartbreak like shattered across their visage. And then all these images fade down. And in its wake, I need all of you to take 20 points of psychic damage.
Is this the D&D equivalent of taking a condition?
Listen, there aren't any conditions in D&D, so farm girls make do.
Connie, I hope you know you put me down to less than half. Just so you know.
I'm at 10 HP now.
Yeah.
Mine ain't looking great.
Connie's really trying to kill us all. Like
From like the Yeti didn't even attack you. It's okay, y'all have a Way of Mercy monk and a cleric. So you should be okay, right?
Your tank's at 15 hit points, besties.
We
Yeah,
love
your
that for
other
us.
tank is at 10.
Okay. So why don't the five of you tell me, like, as you continue to walk, like, how is the psychic damage registering on each of your bodies, right? Like, how's it taking effect?
Oka's magic works through them offering little bits of their life essence to the weave and the weave taking it. And it's almost like that, kind of this like signature like nosebleed, just like drips, like just like all of a sudden just goes poof, right down their face. But instead of that magic being turned into something, being turned into fire, into magic, it just kind of peters out and like just slides off of Oka and they just bleed.
How about the
I
rest
think
of you? Go ahead.
I think for Geron, their hand has started to hurt and like throb. The same hand that Oka like last held has started, like a bone deep kind of pain has started to like tremble and form inside of it. And it's the same hand that they use to wield their weapons. So their hand is kind of like shaking a little bit as well. So they have an unsteady grip on everything.
Okay, and Geron, why don't you pass the spotlight along to someone else?
I will pass it along to Analia.
I think Analia is like looking weaker than anyone in the Hounds has ever seen them look. And I think that like they're holding their head and like trying to cover their ears because all they hear is the begging and pleading over and over and over, even though the images have stopped. And they kind of stumble a little bit as they continue to walk forward. They catch themselves, but like every couple of steps they stumble. And they kind of look around and they look out of breath and shaken.
And Analia, why don't you pass the spotlight along to someone else?
I will pass it over to Gentle.
I think Gentle is like shivering, which they don't get cold, so this ain't great. I hope you know you knocked me down to 1, by the way. I didn't say anything.
That's okay.
But yeah, I'm just shivering.
Okay. Last but not least, let's go to Sitlali.
I think Sitlali's hair goes from this like bright opalescent, almost not really, I don't know colors. I went to art school, but I don't know colors. It sort of fades back to this like subdued white, and I think their posture just kind of gets a lot stiffer and a little more formal, and it's weird because, you know, Sitlali is always very like loose and free, and it's very like odd to see this very suddenly uptight, quiet, subdued, possibly past version of themselves.
Okay. And like that, the 5 of you continue down this twisting, prismatic corridor. Do you say anything to each other as you get closer to your charge?
I think maybe in the horrible, horrible silence, you know, that follows, they all stumble and walk. And, oh God. Mercy always said that she had a way of collecting broken people. And they, maybe as Gentle as shaking, I think Oka puts an... Okay, he was crying outside the door for so long. Oh, what a way to ruin the moment, Bubba. Sorry. Oka sees Gentle shivering and kind of opens their cloak up and puts it around Gentle.
Analia will see this and very gently place their hands on Gentle and do lay on hands for 7 hit points.
Thank you.
Mhm.
We're all friends, right? Like, it's important to know, especially if this place isn't feeling super good, that we're all friends, right?
Gentle,
Yeah.
you've always been my friend, of course.
You're my friend. I care about you.
Oka looks kind of sidelong at Geron out of the corner of their eye, and yeah, we're all friends, Gentle.
But he hasn't said if we're friends or not.
Of course we're fucking friends.
I think Gentle like beams a little bit and like, is it okay if I take off my mask for a little bit? I'd like to look at you all with like my good face. And like, if that's okay.
I think we've all been rather unmasked, Gentle. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Gentle takes off their mask and like just like shaking a little bit, like They're clearly still nervous to do so. I don't know how many of you have seen them without it. But yeah, they just take it off and they like smile very innocently. Thank you.
I think Sitlali is going to just kind of jam their shield into the ground and be like, "We're taking a break. I've decided that we're taking a break. Yes." And they're going to start casting Prayer of Healing, which takes 10 minutes.
Okay. Analia will sit on the ground.
Yeah, Geron's gonna sit next to Analia as well.
Oka, I think maybe sits next to Gentle. You know, for what it's worth, I think you're good at helping people, Gentle.
I try. Thank you. I mean, we have a few minutes. I could make some like I can make a snack or something.
As long as there are no tranquilizers in it.
Oh, of course not. This one's just gonna be like make your heart feel nice and warm. And then like I make sort of a soup.
While we're waiting for the soup to be made, Geron is going to kind of look over at Analia and ask, "That must have been hard, having to leave like that."
I didn't really have a choice. It wasn't good or safe for me to stay in the championship. Becoming someone who I hated. I like myself much better now. And she will, and they will cross their legs like crisscross applesauce on the ground.
He's gonna like kind of like nudge Analia a little bit and be like, "I think you're pretty okay."
Wow, just okay.
Okay. You're really cool. One of the best fighters I've ever seen, and I've met quite a few that have come this way from Nabal.
Well, thank you. You're pretty cool as well. Analia
You know
will smile.
Sorry, go.
No, I was just gonna say Analia will smile.
Geron will smile back and say, "Hey, look, you left, but that doesn't mean that she's not thinking of you."
I'd rather her not. I don't. My regret's not about me leaving. My regret's about me hurting her. I don't want to cause her any more pain. I've done enough. And Analia will kind of like look off into the distance of the tunnel.
Geron is gonna kind of look at Oka, who is like talking to Gentle at this moment, and just kind of like put their legs and knees up and like their arms on top of their knees and kind of go, yeah, I think I get that.
Analia will very, very gently put their head on top of Geron's head and just go, cycles are meant to be broken. It'll come around.
Have we seen Sitlali cast this spell before?
Sitlali, what does it look like? How does Prayer of Healing work for you?
I think especially because of the headspace that they're in right now, which is much more closer to what their emissary would like, I think. That is to say miserable. It's just like very out of character, like for them, reverent and like I like to see it like they're sort of like drawing in the ice. They're like kind of etching into the ice with their fingertip, but it's not quite their fingertip. There's like some sort of dark something going on there as they cast the spell. And then there's like a small, as the 10 minutes kind of ends, there's like a small like release of this like darker energy, and everybody heals 18 hit points.
Nice.
Dab.
A net loss of 2. That's not bad.
Does that also heal you, Sitlali? Because if not, Oku would do something.
It does. It's up to 6. So.
Fantastic. Also, Quinn, I think Google Meets isn't picking up your captions, so maybe like try talking with the input source. Yeah, captions
Let me
Zangy.
see.
Okay. So while you do that, Quinn, let's hop back into the narrative. So after this 10-minute break, right, and the divinity like suffusing your bones from this prayer of healing that Sitlali casts, I think patches up those emotional wounds, and like the conversations you have with each other help as well, and you feel a little bit more centered, a little bit more steady. When sort of like at the very tail end of these 10 minutes, the 5 of you feel the ground just shake, right? I think there's been like little tremors here and there, but now like the ground is like quaking. You see like the prisms like jittering all around you. You feel like icicles like crack down, like some like frosty dust like rhymes down from the ceiling. And now the 5 of you hear shouting for the first time. Familiar shouting. Grunting and like fighting shouting, right? Coming from maybe just a couple dozen feet up ahead. As you hear Mercy struggling against something. What do the 5 of you do?
I don't know what demons Mercy is fighting, but we should probably go help.
Analia jumps to their feet and just starts running. Just starts booking it.
Oku's
God.
right on their heels.
I don't want to know what keeps Mercy up at night. And Geron is pulling the rapier out and running as well.
I'm covering up since it's like a one-way tunnel. I'm like covering the soup up, and I'm like taking it off the fire. Just sort of run after everyone.
Okay, and Sitlali?
Hawk and just kind of grabs their shield and just goes.
Awesome. And yay, the captions are working again. Hurrah! The 5 of you book it down this like prism twisting tunnel, like, the ground shaking all around you. You can feel your legs sort of like turn, like you're wobbling on jelly as you're like running it and booking it. And you see like a few cracks start to splinter like up top, like in this prismatic tunnel. You round a corner, but before you do, you see the end of this tunnel, like in view, and you see like a massive wall, like an arching chamber wall, just like sort of like even bigger than the first chamber you were in, just arch all the way up, and you see shadows being projected against that wall. You see the silhouette of Mercy, with her greatsword drawn up, fighting against like the massive, there's no other way to explain it, what looks to be a ginormous bulette, like a with like armored spikes and with like these massive claws. Stop it! I don't. And like you hear Mercy like, Mercy like rush forward again, and now the 5 of you turn the corner to see this prismatic tunnel opens up into this vast chamber where you see icicles like sort of like rhymed on like the tall ceiling, like 40 feet up into the air, like massive icicles that are all trembling from the force of this fight. Mercy is sort of in the middle of like dueling, attacking, holding her own against the biggest freaking bulette the 5 of you have ever seen. This thing is like the size of like a dire troll, right? It's like, and like Mercy looks like a little matchstick person, but she's somehow able to, she like a big claw slams down, she braces against it and it pushes her back. But then it uses its other claw to, bam, hit Mercy on her unprotected side. And she goes, as she flies through the air, smacks into like a nearby wall and slumps down. She seems to be like kind of out of it, like semi-unconscious. And the 5 of you see this bulette like turn and start to advance on her. But before it does, what do the 5 of you do?
I immediately cast Bless on Gentle, Sitlali, and Geron.
Okay. Does that give them an extra 1d4, or is that like something?
Yes, 1d4.
Okay. Okay, cool. How about the rest of you? And let's say you all can like take one like non-combat action before we get into a fight here, get into a scrap.
I think Geron is going to yell out, "Shut up, Oka! Don't say anything. Just get around it," and is going to ask Oka. Basically, this is something that they've done before. We're asking to like flank the creature so that Geron can come in with a sneak attack.
Yep. And Oka will go right ahead and use will maybe use whoever is in front of them to like launch themselves up, and these big, like fucking gigantic spectral wings just come ripping out of the back of their shirt as I use my good old radiant soul, and they like fly over it, and will also a little bit of blood begins to like trail down, which they'll use when they get on the other side. But for now, they're just flying up and over.
Awesome. Gentle, Sitlali, Analia.
Do you want to go first, Jude?
No, go. It's okay.
I want to once again roll insight to know if I should still treat this one with kindness or not.
Okay, so I think that's the movie make. So why don't you roll insight for me? In the meantime, Sitlali, Analia.
Analia will take out their shield and also take out their scimitar.
Okay, you're gonna draw both
23.
things and get ready.
Yeah.
23. You can hold 3. You can spend them however you want. Spending a hold will not cost an action of any sort.
Okay.
Sitlali?
Assuming, are we within like 60 feet-ish of Mercy?
What are you trying to do? What are you?
I was going to cast healing. I was going to cast healing word on her.
Okay, great. Then yes, we're within 60 feet. Yes.
Okay, cool. So like low under their breath in Raven speech, like she'll just cast healing word, and I have to roll things, and I just realized that. That's 3 plus 5 is a number 8. I think that's 8. Yeah.
Okay,
So
should
she'll
restore
heal for
8 hit points. So as you say these, you see like these words like spin around like Mercy. She goes, and you see like a bit of like a nosebleed, like from where maybe the Bielet like punched her or something. Like starts like her nose like starts cracking back into place. As she starts to like regain consciousness a little bit more. Good job, Sitlali. Gentle, would you like to spend any of that hold to ask a question before we enter battle?
Yes.
Okay.
Can it be stopped non-lethally?
Yes.
Can I ask more questions?
Yes, you can. You can ask up to the 3, or you can hold one during the
Okay.
battle if something changes.
Okay, so I think my other question is, does it have any noticeable weak spots?
Yes, there are slivers in its armor. It's sort of like got segmented plate armor, and when it moves and bends, you can sort of see like the segment sort of ply open to sort of reveal like a softer flesh underneath. In terms of like physical, actual weak spots in this Bielet's otherwise impenetrable armor, right? Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
And
you're
I think my
gonna
last
hold your
thing-
third one.
I'm gonna use all 3.
Okay, great. What is it?
Does it need to be calmed down first?
In order for you to do what?
And I'm mostly wondering if Gentle can actually go all out and fight this for once.
Yes, you can. This thing is powerful, and it seems to be embroiled in like a conflict with Mercy, right? So you can go all out to maybe get its attention, and maybe be like, "Hey, we're your enemy now."
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
Great. In that case, we are going to enter Transplanar initiative. So what that means is we're not going to roll for it. We just want to decide who goes first. And it's always going to be the PCs who go first and then the enemy. Something else to know about Transplanar combat. If you miss an attack roll, you can choose to miss as usual, or you can choose to deal damage anyway, but that means your opposition gets a reaction. So, who's got something? Who wants to go first? Who's got an idea?
I'm on one.
Okay, Oka, you fly through the air. What do you do?
As they go, they whistle real loud to try to get the Bielet's attention as they go up and over. And as they do, they are going to activate their good old blood maledict. Classic, my favorite thing in the whole wide world, blood curse of binding. As they the blood drips out of their nose from their nosebleed from earlier and leaves a trail almost over the Bielet's back. And they kick off the other side of the wall and just kind of draw it up with their hands, and suddenly like it's a blood rope, and they like bring it down over the top of the boulette, which has to make a strength save against a 13.
Okay, it fails. Is it stuck in place?
That means that it currently has a speed of 0 and cannot use reactions until the end of its next turn.
I'm gonna say it still can react, but its speed is 0. Okay,
Great.
Is that your turn?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. As you get down and you like cause this like blood net to fall over its body, and it sort of falls to the ground and starts like scuffing against this icy floor, and you see plumes of like frost just sort of like rise as its like claws are scuffing into the ground, and then it sort of like turns its like a big glowing red eye onto you. Bullets don't usually have glowing red eyes. They usually have eyes that are like just black, like sharks. Right? There's something up with this bulette. As it looks at you, Oka, I need you to make a whiz save.
15?
That just doesn't make it. As Oka, I need you to answer the question, and then I'll tell you what happens. When did you feel the most monstrous in your life?
About 7 years ago.
Okay, and as this happens, suddenly the chamber for all of you melts away. The terrain changes, and it's just like a dark void. And then suddenly, populating the void, originating from Oka, a bamboo grove. Like bamboo sprouts come up, like a breeze, like wash it, like there's no more chamber. It's like you're straight up were you transported? You don't really know. Straight up in a grove. If you look around, you still see the bulette, you still see Mercy slumped out against a boulder, instead of like against the icy wall. Like 4 or 5 of you are still in the same places that you were. And then you all hear a sort of a low noise as another figure also like materializes. It's Oka. Oka, why don't you describe this other monstrous self?
Describe Oka in this moment or this other monster? No, yeah, I know exactly what it is. This Oka has hair, I think is maybe the first most notable thing. They have long, beautiful, silky hair that goes all the way down to their feet. Like all the way down. And they have no scars, or rather they don't have any scars yet, but they are bleeding. There is a huge hole in their chest, and this beautiful robe, all like decorated in silver lace and trim and shiny things, is just drenched down the front. And there's this gaping wound in their face that is also they're just losing so much blood. And there's this yellow, black veining that's starting to form and crawl its way up their face as they stand there panting, with a dao in their hand.
Oka, how do you react to this?
They freeze. They were ready with their sword. Like the blood net was drawn, and it just falls away. Like the sword drops out of their own hand, and it just falls away as they look at this younger version of themselves, like panting in the middle of the bamboo grove, covered in blood.
Okay, and that is your turn, Oka. So who's next? Who's got something they want to do?
Analia will use their bonus action to cast Divine Favor on themselves, and then attack the bulette with their scimitar.
Okay, make an attack roll. As you lunge forward, how are you reacting to this sudden change of terrain and scenery as well, Analia?
I think Analia sees it, but I think Analia is more focused on destroying the cause of it than they are about reacting to what's going on.
Totally. Go for it.
I'm going to use my inspiration because I don't think it's going to hit. That's worse. Okay, great. So I'm gonna use my first one. Does a 14 hit?
It will not, but you can choose to roll damage anyway, as long as it gets to make a reaction against you.
Yeah, it's fine, I guess.
Okay, roll damage. Roll damage.
1d6. 7 plus 4 is 11.
11. Okay, 11 points of damage. Do you get it in its like weak spot?
Oh yeah, Analia totally does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead if you want to describe what it looks like.
Yeah. So Analia will lunge forward and notice where the weak spots are. Like in her brain, it kind of looks like, you know, the math meme of the
The lady.
Yeah, it's of the lady. That's what Analia looks like when Analia fights. Analia is immediately scanning targets for weak spots for places that they can take advantage of. And so they see this weak spot and they immediately like take their scimitar underhandedly and will just go into their side.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna do a few things, I think, when that happens, because
I'm ready.
you heard it good. Because you targeted its weak spot, you get to roll double damage. So roll damage again. It's not just 11. We're gonna do it again.
Yeah, let's go. Where's my D4?
Oh, but the penalty. Oh, but the
It's
penalty,
okay.
Jude. Don't speak too
It's
soon.
fine. No, it's fine. I will take the penalty. It'll be fine. We're gonna live. It's gonna be fine.
Spare the dying is a cantrip. Spare the dying is a cantrip. Spare the dying is a cantrip.
That's an additional 10 damage to them.
Very nice. That is 21 points of damage total at level 4. That is pretty dang good. You slash into the weak spot of this Beulah, and it lets out a... And as it does, the bamboo grove starts to shiver and shudder and sort of flicker like static on a TV screen as the illusion, right, starts to sort of lose substance. But okay, you're still like struck by like seeing yourself in this grove, even as it, you know, shivers. It doesn't matter that it's not real, because it's not real doesn't mean it isn't true, right? It's the whole thing about illusions. And Analia, as your blade cleaves into the soft flesh of this Bulette between its blades, something horrifying happens. The Bulette discorporates. The one segment to your left just sort of turns into sort of goo, sort of sloughs off, and the one segment to your right also turns to glue and sloughs off as its shape changes. And in where your blade had hit it in its weak spot is now a hand of a dire troll. As it like holds onto your blade, right? And it's just like this massive, I think it's like a frost-like dire troll with like this blue skin. It's like a big, my version of a troll. It's like a big shambling, almost like a yeti-like creature. But it's like a lot more lanky instead of like a yeti's like burliness, right? And like it's got like a shaggy fur covering its face, and you can't see its eyes except for these two glowing red dots. And you see its like jaw drops open, quite wide. It's got teeming with teeth, and it grabs onto your scimitar, and its eyes beam down on you. Analia, make a whiz save.
I'm gonna use a luck point, besties. That's better.
What'd you get?
16.
That just makes it. I'm gonna have you answer anyway, but it's not gonna be like as intense. When did you feel the most monstrous in your life, Analia?
I think Analia felt the most monstrous when they killed a person for the first time.
Okay, where was this? In a championship? Or
In a championship. When they were 16.
how old are you now?
24.
Okay, so almost 10 years. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
Analia.
yes.
There's a reason why Analia hunts monsters and not people.
Okay. I think we sort of see like the statics of this like bamboo grove just shudder like extremely, like you're caught, like this bamboo grove is like caught in the middle of a hurricane now, and the scenery changes to be like a dusty arena, right, in the middle of Nabob, and all of you hear like cheering, like like at a Colosseum fight, right? And you all see this monstrous version of Analia. Who is the person you killed? Can you describe them for me?
Yeah, Analia murdered this older man who was slated to win the championship. Analia being entered into this championship was kind of like we'll have fun watching them fail. Like they'll never win. They're too young, too inexperienced. And to beat them, Analia kind of shut their mind off. And
Okay.
you see an image of Analia covered in blood that's not their own. And the man underneath them is bloodied and like spitting up and choking up on their own blood underneath their foot.
Totally. And I think you all hear this man go, wait, please, I have a daughter, please. And what does this monstrous Analia do?
Stab him through the heart.
And now we zoom back to the real Analia, almost 10 years into the future here, staring at this scene. And maybe for an instant, you're like, oh God, right? As you're like reliving one of your worst memories. But a different memory cuts through that pulls you out of it. And now I'm going to redeem that incentive of the Mercy memory. Yeah! So tell me, Analia, Mercy, I think, sort of, I slumped against like one of the amount of corpses now in this arena floor is Mercy. And Mercy lets out, Analia, wait, it's not real. And her voice cuts through this. What is the memory you're flung back to of Mercy showing kindness to you?
I think they were fighting a ton of monsters, and Analia just had a bad day and got really hurt. And I think this was the first time that Analia has experienced like short changing in like monster battles and monster fights because of how trained they are. And so it's a memory of Analia sitting on a bathroom counter while Mercy is teaching them how to basically like heal their own wounds and close their wounds.
Where's the main wound on your body that she's patching up? Are we having like an intimate gut wound time or like
yeah,
a
100%.
like
100%. It's like a slash like right through the gut. Yeah.
We're also at $1,000, $169.69. So I think that's
Let's
accurate.
go. This is perfect. Let's go.
This is perfect. Okay. Mercy is sort of like bandaging you up. You know, maybe you have like a thing of like alcohol to sanitize. And also if you want to, it's there for you to drink, to like take your mind off of this. Mercy just sort of going, you gotta be more careful, kid. Sandworms have a tendency to pop out of nowhere.
And Analia will go, when the alcohol hits their gut, just go, I fought sandworms before. That one was different. It was different.
Yeah. Monsters know what they're doing.
I had a bad day. And Analia will kind of like shake their head a little bit and kind of like their fist is very lightly like tapping on the counter next to them, both from the pain and wincing of getting their wounds sterilized, but also just like the frustration of like failing.
Hey. And Mercy takes like one weathered hand and like puts it on your jittering hand. Like looks with like one eye like into your frustrated gaze. You're like, oh, you're like kicking yourself kind of. Listen, kid, no one's blaming you. You charged right in there. You got more backbone than 5 of my guys combined. I know this feels like more. Go ahead.
Should have been more careful. It's reckless. And someone else could have gotten seriously hurt if I went down.
Well, now you know. It's a lesson. You should be lucky and grateful that this lesson, at least no one died. Hey, you're doing better than me when I was your age. And Mercy sort of like rubs like an old scar like on her arm. I've made a lot of really bad mistakes in my life, Analia. Mistakes that cost lives. Lives that weren't my own. Lives of people I cared about. But they live on in here. And Mercy sort of like touches her heart and then like puts her hand like over your heart as well. No one's beyond redemption, Analia. And you get the feeling she's not just talking about the worm attack.
For sure.
That sort of shit isn't measured in forgiveness, okay? You could go 100 years, people you hurt still will never forgive you. That's their choice. It's not on you to make them forgive you. It's on you to become the best version of you that you can be. I believe that, and I see that in you.
Thank
All right,
you,
kid?
Mercy. All right. Is this
I'm not
gonna,
bullshitting you.
Can I
ahead.
fight tomorrow?
No. Bed rest. 48 hours, no missions. And no drinking.
No!
And maybe on that, like, we cut away from this flashback as we see, like, this arena just sort of, like, dust away. As, like, the actual Analia sort of, like, refinding their center here.
Yeah, Analia will look back at Mercy. And just kind of nod.
Good job, kid. Ugh. As like Mercy sort of grabs like another like injury at her rib, and I think that's the end of your turn, Analia. Unless there's something else you want to do.
No, that is the end of my turn. I'm out of actions.
Okay, who goes next? It's now a dire troll. Who's next?
I'm gonna take advantage of the fact that Oka has distracted it, and now Analia has also gone in to attack it. And Geron is gonna go in with his rapier and try to slice at the dire troll.
Okay, make an attack roll.
We are gonna get a 23.
That
You're
hits.
blessed.
Roll damage.
All right. I get a plus 1d6 for my sneak attack, so that's gonna be great. We're gonna do 11 damage to it. As Geron goes in, and as the dire troll is distracted, not paying attention to them, they're gonna take their rapier and kind of like sleep, like quietly run up and like slice at its back.
Okay, you quietly run up and you jump into the air and you like slice down its back, and as you cause this 11 points of damage, like ripping into this thing's like hide, lets out a roar, and as you sweep the blade down the length of its fur, the fur hardens, and you're no longer cleaving through flesh, but you see like sparks raise as the fur turns into like a kind of like plate, like a thick, tough, platey hide, and as the entire dire troll just sort of lengthens, it just sort of like volcanic like ash just comes out as it transforms into it lengthens, and its entire body begins to curve against this like the icy cave again, right? As the arena gives way, we're now in the actual cave again. As the body of a frost worm comes out from either end of where you're slashing your rapier, right? Geron. And its body is sort of curled around yourself, Analia, and Oka. Geron, is there anything else you can or want to do as it's...
Yes. As a bonus action, so I, as part of Master of Tactics, I can use a bonus action to help another ally in attacking a creature. So I'm going to use my bonus action to help whoever is attacking the frostworm next by mimicking the sound frostworm as I know them to try and keep its attention focused on me so that it's not going to focus on anyone else who might be trying to attack it.
I love that. I think what that means is whoever goes next will have advantage on whatever roll they decide to do. If that feels good to you, if that's how that works, okay. I think what happens though is this worm, its head sort of it appears out of nowhere, out of this mound of like hide, fur covered flesh. It's like head turned, and you see like multiple eyes, right? Like on its body, all blinking, and they're all red and they're blinking, and it's like huge maw opens, and its eyes, its crimson gaze beams down at you, Geron. And I need you to make a whiz save. You know what's coming. You know what's happening.
Yep. Wisdom saving throw. Let's see. We are at 19.
That is sufficient. Same thing's gonna happen to you that happened to Analia. So why don't you tell me, when did you feel the most monstrous?
I think for Geron, his community is very, very important to him. And for him, that means like taking care of each other. That is how you show your love to other people in your community. And the time that they felt the most monstrous was when they failed to uphold that duty and that responsibility. They were the hunter for their for the commune of Morose in Bolshaya specifically, or one of the hunters. And one day, when they went out to hunt and they came back, they lied about how much food they had brought back. One of their parents, was sick, and they knew that they need more food, but if we distributed it evenly the way that we always do, there's always that chance that it wouldn't be enough to help their parents survive this ailment. And so he was selfish. He came back and stowed away some of the meat and told everyone that there was less than usual, that the creatures got away, there just wasn't enough time, and for the next little while until the next hunt, there wasn't quite enough food for everyone to go around.
Okay. I think what we see here is we're now on the lake itself as the scene wipes away, like the cavern walls fall down, and we just see the vast night sky of Andake with these like thousands and thousands of stars spackled across this midnight expanse, just raining light down all around us in like a shower of like divine glory. And we're now in the midst of this like commune on Lake Zima, and we see people just sort of like walking between, like yurts, and they look like tired and they look hungry. Maybe we even say, I'm not gonna get too explicit here, but we see like a row of like bodies with like sheets put over them for people who died from exposure or from like lack of food, and then we zoom in on Geron, who amongst people, doesn't look like super great, but does not look like, they're doing like super bad either, right? And maybe like we see Geron's parents now sort of like duck out from like the hide flap of like a nearby like yurt. And Geron, what pronouns do your parents use?
Let's go with one of them is she, her, the other is they, them.
Okay. One of your parents, let's say your mother, comes toward you, and she's like swaddled in furs. Geron, have you been lying?
What makes you think that?
It's just, we seem to have food. We seem to have plenty, but we've had to... It wouldn't be bury. What would be the right word? We've had to submerge so many of our own this past month.
Geron is like fidgeting a lot as this conversation happens. I'm not quite meeting the eyes of their mother. Maybe they're going through the food faster this time than normal.
He's lying. And your other parent comes out and is sort of like furious and holding like the, let's say like some food, a game that you've like, you've harvested for them, you've like stowed away from your family, and like it's like throwing it in front of you like a scarlet letter, which it is. This, why are we holding? I found this stowed under your mat. Geron, explain.
It was for you. You were sick, and you needed it to heal, to get better.
Not like this, Geron. Not at the cost of the commune. This goes against everything we've taught you. Hoarding food? Hoarding resources?
I couldn't see you go. I didn't want to see you go.
Honey, please, we should listen to... No! I would sooner have died than have a son like you. And the actual Geron watching this, right, like as this like big frost worm sort of like beaming its gaze down on you, you also hear Mercy's voice like cut through as she like comes back, back to consciousness a little bit. It goes, Geron, stop, don't listen to what they're saying. And as Mercy's voice cuts through, we're going to redeem that incentive. And why don't you tell us, Hamna, about the memory where Mercy was kind to you? Where are you and what's going on?
So I think we are at the fire, and this is after a successful monster hunt. I think like we're reminiscing about what happened during the hunt, and it was a particularly cool moment of, Geron being the bait as he normally is, and standing in front of the monster as it's about to attack, and Mercy swoops in and like slices its head off. And so we're kind of reminiscing about how awesome that was. And time passes and people leave to go to sleep, but Mercy and Geron remain at the fire. And I think they have, for Mercy anyway, it's pretty rare for her to like open up and like be vulnerable and that kind of thing. You know, she's a tough woman. She's not like that. But I think in this night, when they were alone, Geron and Mercy ended up talking just about something other than monsters, something other than blood and hunting and all of that. And it made Geron feel cared for in a way that they haven't from like a mentor figure for quite some time.
A simple but understated moment of connection, right? No grand gesture here, no big revelation. It's just two people talking and connecting on a human level or on a orc dragonborn level. And like Mercy's like laughing, you're like sharing like a nice like like a warm cider between yourselves, maybe like a warm hot chocolate or something, like talking and laughing, and she like thumps you on the back, and the convo gets kind of deep. Where does it go?
I think Mercy kind of knows everything about everyone as part of the Hounds. She has a way of kind of getting it out of you, so she knows the relationship that Geron has with their parents is kind of strained at this point. It's not bad, but it is a little bit strange because of what they did. And so it kind of, Mercy will never touch on it directly, but they kind of start to talk about that a little bit and about, in a way, even about the relationship that Mercy and Geron have.
I really like that. And I think there's a moment where Mercy just sort of like says, never directly, right? Kid, sometimes you do things that you think is going to help someone, and they don't react the way you thought they would. And it's taken me a long, long time to realize this, but I can't control how people respond to what I do. I can only control what I do. And as long as what I do comes from a good place, the effects are positive on the world around me and the way I see. It's all you can really hope for, you know what I mean?
Would you ever want help if you were in danger and I could do something about it?
I'd rather eat my own sword than ask for it. But yeah, you know what, kid? If my ass was really backed into a corner, I'd appreciate that. Even if it doesn't seem like I will.
And with that, Geron kind of chuckles and like goes to like pour Mercy another drink and refills their own glass as well.
Another, and the two of you like continue drinking late into the night. And we pull out of this memory as like the night sky just sort of like dusts away, like forming like the ceiling with the stalactites again, the icicles, and the disappointed face, the infuriated face of your parent, the sad and distraught face of your mother, and yourself looking like the cat, caught red-handed sort of situation, like a kid with their hand in the cookie jar. That all just like fades away as you stand strong with this memory of Mercy. And this frostworm lets out as it sees that what it's trying to do is, having less of an effect on you, perhaps. It's responding in an intense way. Whether it's positive or negative is actually hard to tell. So who's next?
I'll go.
Okay, Gentle, what do you do?
I softly say I'm sorry for what's about to happen. I don't think I'm gonna hurt you super bad, but hopefully. And I rush in and do 3 attacks and a hand of harm. Love being a monk.
Okay, so I think your first attack has advantage, eh?
Yep. Let's see. I almost brought back the cursed dice from earlier today.
No. No, jail that one.
All right, first one's a nat 20. Second one and third one, let me read those out. Second one is a 19, third one is a 14.
Okay, the first 2 will hit, and the third one, the 14, will not. So the nat 20, the 19 hit, but the 14 does not. For the let's resolve them all in like one turn. For the 14, do you want it to miss, or do you want to roll damage anyway and have it take a reaction?
I won't press my luck.
You'll miss.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. So how I do nat 20s is you can either take full damage and then roll dice again, or you can roll double dice and pick like an extra narrative boon. Right? We can like work that out together what that means. So this could be like if you want to learn a little bit more about what's making this thing tick, or if you want to like something, right? Create an opportunity for an ally, take something from it,
Yeah, I'm
etc.
going to do something like that.
Okay, sounds good. So why don't we roll damage first? So roll double dice for your nat 20.
All right. Sure, I have the right dice for unarmed strikes because I almost rolled the wrong one. Okay. Oof. So rolled those ones. That's 14 for the first hit.
Okay.
That's 7 for the second, and then the hand of harm as well will be. Oh, math! You're very mean to me. And that will be 7. The sevens are coming back in a good way now.
So 28 total.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sounds good. So what is the extra narrative boon you wanna try to get?
I want to see if we can get it to chill out soon.
For sure. Okay. Yeah, I think with you smacking it, you realize that it's sort of getting to its final forms, so to speak. And let's say with your nat 20, you slam it into its next form before it can even do something with you. Bam! You punch this thing. Or do you do like an open palm strike? How do you attack?
I think it's very much a sliding, like just big open palm hit.
Bam! Where are you hitting this worm?
I think while Geron's doing like distracting it, I think I just sort of like almost leapfrog from especially because it's looking, leapfrog from like behind them and just like pop it right in the like nose. Like boop it as close to the face as possible.
The nose of the worm, yeah. It ripples all the way down its body, like the force of this attack. And as it ripples, it changes. The nose turns from this sort of like squishy, like plated on the top, like worm nose, to a soft beak. As you smack it, as purple feathers ripple down its body, and it just sort of like ends, and the rest of its body just disappears, or actually like gets sucked back into its entire body as it falls down from where the head was, and landing on the ground is a purple owlbear, just the creature that you thought, with like tufts of like purple feathers and fur, you know, like the face of an owl, the body of a bear, with like wings, you know, like coming out of its two front haunches, and it lets out a like an owl screech, right, as you like are like in the middle of smacking it. I think. Yes, just like that. Thank you for a better owl noise. See? And yeah. Bam! You smack it on the other side as well. It does not get to take a reaction against you, right? But it's sort of Is there anything else you would like to do, Gentle?
I think I think I just sort of like, hopefully you're nice. I really don't want to keep fighting you. I don't like being good at this. I really like that. And I think as you say that, you hear like Mercy sort of cough from the corner, go, "Good job, kid." God, my rib. Ugh. And maybe on that, like what Mercy's saying, let's do Dare's incentive as well. Let's get into a gentle memory with Mercy. So why don't you set the scene for us? I think it's maybe been some time since the wolf incident. But I think we're checking back in that like area, and the wolf is like healed with like some little wolf puppies.
Oh, so cute. Are you in like a den? Like in their
Yes.
like den area? Okay. Maybe you are like doing like the finishing touches on like healing. Maybe you're also like you're feeding the wolf puppies maybe,
Yeah,
or like
I think I come back and check often. I like the cold. It's nice.
Totally. And you come upon Mercy squatted over this litter of wolf pups, just sort of like scratching them behind the ears. And I don't think she realizes you've entered the cave yet. She like gets up and like turns around. Oh, it's you.
It's just me. You're good. Yeah. No, I won't tell anyone.
She sheaths her sword again. You know, relish these words because I don't say them often. I think you were right. About the wolf, I mean. Sparing it.
I think like Gentle's going through a thank you. Thank you. Yeah, they're really nice. Did you want to like name one?
No. If I did, I'd get attached. And if I get attached, I'd want to take it away from its mother. No.
Oh, I mean, it's sometimes really cool to like name it and then you have a reason to come back and visit.
Okay,
Like, I
fine.
named this one Genevieve, and I just pointed to one of them.
Genevieve. That's an
Yeah.
odd name.
I like odd names.
I'll call this one, Fluff. That one can be Short Tail. And that one over there can be Runt, because it's the runt of the litter.
I like the runt of the litter. Runt's good. Big fan of those. I didn't expect you to be the soft hanging out with babies type.
I'm not. And they're not babies. I hate babies. They're wolf pups.
That's just the babies of wolves.
Right, but they don't scream and cry out for milk and have diapers you have to clean up.
I think because they're wolves, they literally would want milk.
And you hear one of the wolf pups scream and cry for milk as it like, goes back to its mother.
I do also have bottles of milk too. If you want to like feed one.
Mercy hesitates and then takes a bottle. And then like
and
very
I think
roughly
I
like
took my mask off.
as you take your mask off, Mercy just sort of like stuffs the bottle into like a wolf pup's mouth and it goes, oh, but it continues drinking. And Mercy like pauses and looks at you as you take your mask off. And if she has a reaction to your actual face, she doesn't show it. But what she does say is, what's a person like you doing with a bunch of killers like us?
I've never been super good at maintaining friendships or most healthy relationships. It's not really shocking. And you are some of the first people who's ever made me feel like family, and I want to help you all stay as safe as possible. And Geron's also someone I've known for years, and they're really cool, and I think they're great, and I really like all of you.
You picked a rather fucked up group to call your family. It's not too late to back out, Gentle.
No, it's too late. I love you guys. I'm not good at this. I took my mask off because I feel really safe with you. It's why I don't do it a lot. People don't see this, so it means a lot.
Who hurt you, kid?
I mean, I hurt people, and then people didn't want me around, so I wore a mask, and I started hunting to be useful, and I'd never really liked hunting, so I want to help save the monsters we can and make you guys safe.
Mercy, like, hands the bottle back to you, which is, like, completely empty now, and the wolf pup goes, ah! Hey, you've got your mother's teat. Come on. She, like, shoves this wolf pup, like, back into its mom, who's, like, sort of passed out, and she, like, passes you on the way out. She, like, claps a hand on your shoulder. You're a good kid, Gentle, but word of advice from a selfish bitch. Your worth ain't measured by what you can do for other people. And whoever taught you that, kick him to hell and back. Claps you on the shoulder one more time and moves to leave.
I won't tell anyone.
Good. You won't, and that's a threat. And on Mercy leaving, we're gonna flashback into this cave with this owlbear with this like big crimson eyes, not like the black glossy eyes of normal owlbears. Like, it's got like bright red eyes with purple fur, like looking up at you, going, sort of like with its. I can't make owl and bear noises, okay? Just pretend it was really good as it snaps its beak at you, Gentle. But it isn't able to like fix its gaze on you, right? Because it seems a little stunned by your strike. Is that the end of your turn, Gentle?
Yep.
Okay, which leaves, last but not least, are you ready? Our salty charlatan, Sitlali. What do you do?
Woo. So the first thing this entire time, Sitlali has been in like cleric mode, just kind of like assessing people and is like, do you need healing? No, they're fine. They're fine. Cool. Tight. Spare the dying as a cantrip. And they look, I think it's safe to say, having watched it shapeshift multiple times, they know what form is next and they're not excited about it. I did this to us. So they are going to do something which, again, if they've done it in front of the hounds, it's been very sparingly. They pull their amulet, their holy symbol, out from underneath like their armor, and it is like a symbol of the Raven Queen. And they're gonna channel divinity, Path to the Grave, and curse this motherfucker until the end of my next turn. So the next time I or an ally hits it with an attack, it's vulnerable to all of that attack's damage, and then the curse ends. So it's just like, hold it, a little bit of Raven speech in the back of my head to the emissary that kind of I'm like tethered to. I'm just like, I know I'm rusty. I know it's bad. The grammar, don't roast me. All right, got it. Just do the thing.
And the voice just goes, okay. And what does the curse look like?
I think instead of this time, like where their healing magic, like they drew I think it kind of like appears somewhere on like currently owlbear's body in like that same brackish dark kind of energy, and it just kind of like seals itself in, like sinks into it. And then I'm gonna cast a guiding bolt at 2nd level.
Okay. Before you do that, as a reaction to being cursed,
no,
my good friend. Yes, as this dark energy crackles down its feathers, it lets out a as just flames wrap around this owlbear as it transforms into its final form, a pillar of fire, like a fucking fire tornado, like erupts all the way to the top, and it smacks into the domed ceiling, and several stalactites fall and crack down onto the ground all around you. I need all 5 of you to make a dex save before you cast your guiding bolt. It's still your turn.
You know, I think I just kind of want to, for roleplay's sake, I'm going to just take the L. Oka is still frozen in exactly the same position as they were before. I don't think they're making any kind of dex save.
Okay, if anyone saves, they can try to like also protect Oka in their save.
Mm-hmm. 25, I will
18.
protect Oka.
Yeah,
Same.
remember that we all have less. Yes! Wait! 21! Let's go!
22.
I picked the perfect time to roll really high, I gotta say.
All of you save except
For
Oka.
the gay.
For the gay, who's protecting Oka? Is it a Geron moment? Does everyone?
It's
Or
Geron
tell me.
protecting Oka. Everyone else is stepping back.
Yeah,
Okay.
Geron, take it.
Geron, narrate what happens as these icicles come crashing down. You see one headed straight for Oka. It's massive. If it hits them, you don't know if they'll survive.
So Oka is staring kind of like blank-faced at this creature, presumably where Oka's like nega, or like older self, or like younger, I should say, older in memory, younger self was. And they quickly look up and see that the icicles are falling, and they have this look where their face just drops. And in that moment, they think about what it would be like for Oka to not be around anymore. And they know that they've joked about that a lot. They've kind of said that to them a lot, in maybe perhaps less than kind moments that they've had since the breakup. But in this moment, they can't take that. They can't handle that. and he leaps forward. He drops his rapier to the ground and leaps forward and kind of goes, Oka, no! And like grabs Oka, like full on grabs Oka and like tries to like do like a tuck and roll to try and get away.
It works. Geron slams into you, Oka, and the two of you embrace as you roll across this like icy ground, like one over the other, until you land in the midst of these like crashing and falling icicles, right? Like this roar of flame somewhere beyond all of this. And Oka, I think that's... Do you get shaken out of your stupor?
Yes, but only by... I think their head like literally smacks against Geron's, like, and they get like a little bruise starts forming. Fucking hell, you have the hardest head of anyone I know.
It's the horns, okay? Just a thank you would be nice.
And I think paused there, like in the quiet on the ground. Oka.
Like Oka's like on top of Geron at this point.
They kind of just like tuck a little of their hair like behind their ear and they go, thank you. And they lean down and if it's okay, they kiss Geron.
Geron kind of hesitates for a moment, not knowing what's going on, but they've wanted to do this for so long. And he goes in and returns the kiss.
Oh my god. I almost want to do a She-Ra moment where like light explodes from your kiss. Fire explodes from beyond you as you kiss, and like ice crashes down. And behind you, this inferno finally dissipates, and in its place, reared up, is a remorhaz. If you don't know what that is, it's like a giant, almost like a centipede-like creature that just has these like spikes that go all the way down its body. It's massive, bigger than a frostworm, and the spikes are all like burning red because it's got like, to survive in such cold climates, it's got like a furnace burning inside of each of its spikes. It's got these like big eyes and these like fanned out, like almost like a cobra's like what do you call it? A cobra's hood. Thank you. It's got like this fanned out hood like all around it. I think this remorhaz has markings on the hood that you've never seen a remorhaz have. In addition to having these like bright crimson eyes, the markings look like almost like tattoos or some sort of like stories, like pictographic stories, right? In like a traditional woven like Morozan style almost, like stories of people like together, right? And this remorhaz just lets out a gah! And now it's time for Sitlali to finish their turn and knock this shit out of the park. So Sitlali, describe what you do.
First, I'm gonna roll for my guiding bolt. That's an 18 plus stuff to hit. So I think that it's 18 plus 7.
Okay, yeah,
so
that hits.
That probably hits. Cool. Tight. So again, in Raven speech, they just kind of yell out the thing, and that's how many d6? 5. Okay. So it is vulnerable to this damage.
Yes, it is.
Excellent. Math. Ooh. 6. So 12, 30, 40, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 25.
Okay, what does it look like as you blast this thing, right?
So I'm gonna go real big. So I think they kind of like harness this like pinprick of this like brackish energy that they've been using to cast, and she just kind of like holds her hands to her holy symbol, and it's like a laser beam, like just a beam of this fucking like divine energy just goes straight like for like it's between its eyes.
Mm-hmm. And you hear like the entity inside you go, I finally feel something. as this beam of energy and like slams into this remorhaz, like nails it right between the eyes. And there is an explosion of light. As like, I think momentarily all of you are just sort of like blinded by this like huge, vast, just like fiery, scorching, divine light. As maybe you like cover your eyes. And as the light begins to fade away, little shreds of memory, little wisps of illusion sort of float down all around you, Sitlali. Why don't you tell the class, when did you feel the most monstrous?
Probably the night that they told her parents that they were leaving.
Okay. This is like a precursor to the image of your family on the banks, right? That we saw in the prism cave?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you see like a shard of like one of your parents' face. What are your parents' pronouns?
One of them is they, them, and one of them is they, he.
Okay, wonderful. You see one of your parents, maybe you're just like across a low wooden table from each other, and like your home is sort of rocking a little bit because maybe it's like built in like a kind of like rapid area of like the swamp. Maybe it's like rocking back and forth, also with like the tidal waves of memory. And you can see like one of your parents' face is just like crinkled and what? What do you mean you're leaving?
I don't feel like I belong here anymore, and I don't want to go to the Court of Autumn. I don't fit in there. It's not it's just, I think it's better if I mean, they say that you can go whenever you're if you don't fit in, and I don't fit in. I think that's pretty abundantly clear. So
Of course you can leave if that's where your heart is telling you to go. Your heart is telling you to leave your family?
yeah.
I think one of your parents like covers their mouth with their hands and start to cry. The other one goes, it's okay, it's natural, it's a part of life. Children grow up, they become adults, they leave. But Sitlali, you are one of our best priests. Please, won't you consider staying for one more cycle?
I have considered for a couple. I kept considering, and I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and I should have just told you when I was younger, before this all happened, but it started so soon, and now I am this, and there's all of this expectation, and I didn't ask for this. And I think they regret those words instantly.
Oh. I see. Well, then, if our parentage has not been sufficient, perhaps it is best we part ways, Sitlali.
Maybe I can visit or something. If that, I mean...
Of course you can, Sitlali. But if you come back after leaving, you will always be as a visitor, never family.
Understood.
Dear, don't say such things. Sitlali, we love you. We just go. And your parent gets up, very upset about this, and just sort of like storms away. And your other parent goes, he doesn't mean that, Sitlali. We both love you so much. It's just hard for your parent. I love you. You know that, don't you? I support what you do.
It's fine. You don't have to do this. You don't have to pretend. It's fine. I'm a disappointment. I get it. You don't have to pretend.
No, you're not, Sitlali. Do you storm out at any point of this conversation, Sitlali?
I think this is when they get up and leave.
Okay.
Wait! They go to their room. And they
Yes.
start packing their stuff.
Okay. You storm to your room and the last shard of that memory sort of like flutters down on like the bang of your door, right? That like shard just sort of like flutters away and the light settles down. As the light dissipates, right? All of you see sort of like lying down, like on her back, sort of like coughing a little. In the place of the remorhaz is a woman. A woman with this sort of like fiery purple hair that's sort of like wild and untamed, like sort of like spilling down her shoulders, with this like kind of like dark skin, and she's sort of like dressed in like Morozen robes, and she's got tattoos all over her body, the same tattoos that the remorhaz had on its hood, of just like stories of people, right? Just like all over her. And she's kind of buff, you know, and like her hair is like shaved on the sides, but it's like wild all around it, right? She lets out a oh my. Wow. You know what? The 5 of you are tough. Mercy was right. And Mercy just staggers to her feet, and says, "You call yourself a fucking monster therapist, Jikat." Spits blood onto the ground.
Do you need to be healed real quick?
No. I'm fine. We're both fine. Just a little bit of a lover spat. Jikat turns to Mercy. You still pack a punch like you used to. You're getting old, Mercy. No, I'm not. Shut up. Mercy like gets up and sort of like starts like staggering over, holds out a hand, and Jikat takes it and stands up. What did the 5 of you do?
Monster therapist? Geron,
Do you say
like,
this
is
in character?
saying that-
Okay.
Yeah, this is in character at Mercy.
Yeah, I think Oka is still kind of just like straddling Geron's lap and is also like looking like open mouthed, like, what? What the fuck, Mercy?
Mercy goes, helps Jikat all the way up, and Jikat dusts herself off. Perhaps it's better if I answer about my profession. Yes, hello, nice to meet the 5 of you. My name is Jikat Forma. I am Andake's first and only monster therapist, self-proclaimed. I'm still licensed. I got my degree in too long, don't forget that. Long story short, practiced some druidic arts in Jukai, did some therapy training in too long. Now I have a practice under the ice. I spend my days helping monsters, those who are most misunderstood by Andake. I have various clients. I try to teach them little snippets of common here and there so we can communicate. Yes. Go ahead, Gentle.
Are you? Did you teach the Yeti? The Yeti was going through it earlier. Also, I'll be right back. I need to go get soup, and I go run back and grab that soup from earlier.
Yeah, you grab it. You come back, and Jikat says, you must have met Nievom. Yes, he's got quite the anger issues. I think it's because his parents didn't pay him enough attention when he was a whelp. Oh, we're working through it together. Though I did have to seal up the wall for him to get into my practice because Mercy and I had a few conflicts we had to air out. Does anyone else have any questions before I continue role-playing with myself?
Analia will just walk over to Mercy and put a hand on them and lay on hands for 13 hit points. Because
On
Analia's
Jikat?
concerned. On Mercy.
Okay. Thank you, Analia. Always softer than you look, and she sort of thumps you on the chest.
Why did we have to do monster therapy?
You didn't. Just to get here, you had to go through. What are the dumb names you have for your? Go ahead, Oka. Oh, I thought you wanted to talk, because usually when you put your hand up. They're not dumb. I figure the 5 of you had to have come through the prismatic tunnel of trauma to get here. Yes, it's a, I collected special, psychic shards. I imbued it with some of my magic. It makes those who look into their reflections see their deepest shame. It really helps my clients work through their problems. They're usually such visual learners.
You can have like a back entrance.
Right. A consent form for us to sign.
Yes, all of these things, but see, I was not expecting Mercy to be followed. Mercy, there's a lot you haven't told me since we last spoke. Yeah, because we broke up, remember? Yes, though I don't necessarily accept the terms of that breakup, I still maintain you were shoving me away because you're afraid of intimacy. Shut up! Ugh. And Mercy just sort of like limps forward toward the 5 of you. Thanks for following me here. I knew you'd help me get out of this situation. I'm fine, really. Jikyat, I always get a little nervous when we have to come up by Morose.
Is Geron GCal in this scenario? Because, like, I'm feeling a little attacked right now.
The cinematic parallels in the Connie multiverse.
Any other, like, questions or things you want to say or, like, ask Jikyat?
I feel like you owe us money for this experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not paying you any money for this experience. This was a not fun experience.
Hey, in my defense, it seems like all 5 of you learned something today. I'm so sorry about all the horrible things you've been through. If you ever want to talk, I usually don't take on people as clients, but I'll make an exception for...
You make monsters go through that? That's worse! That's so much worse!
You get how that's worse, right?
Actually, again, I find that monsters tend to be visual learners. You really have to show something to them, especially when you don't share a common language. And monsters tend to be tougher, too, than people. No offense, Mercy. None taken. Did you really have... Go ahead.
No, it was just a snide comment. Just, yeah, we really saw a lot back there, didn't we?
Does anyone want soup? It's still pretty warm. I would like to move past this.
That depends. Does it have a tranquilizer in it?
No.
I need a
Every
tranquilizer.
single fucking
Actually,
tranquilizer you have.
Please give me the tranquilizers.
I can get. I can make calming tea as well as a chaser.
Thank you.
Mercy, if you ever fucking pull anything like that ever again. And Oka just breathes kind of really hard and starts walking off back down the tunnel. This is such a fucking waste of time.
It's not a waste of time if you learned something about yourself and your traumas. Jikyat, like, calls after you. What was with that bamboo grove? Hey, we can talk more about it if you want. Oka's gone. The rest of you?
I think I like hand everyone like a thermos of soup and a thermos of tea.
Analia chugs it.
Yeah.
Like
I
it's
hope you like
insulting because
those.
they just chug it.
I for what it's worth, I'm really glad that we're all friends and we maybe are doing a little bit better. And I will say, what's your name one more time? And I point to the monster therapist.
Jikyat.
Jikyat. How do I say this? That wasn't nice. I get it, but also it wasn't good. I didn't want to have to like hit you, and then like my friends are hurting, and I took my mask off, which is a big thing for me. And like I'm not mad at you, but just you're not nice sometimes. And I give them a thermos of tea and walk off.
Oh, thank you for the tea, and thank you for your honesty. I appreciate your vulnerability, Gentle. I know that you didn't have completely informed consent here, but in my defense, I didn't know you were going to follow me, and I designed this for monsters. But thank you.
The villain.
Oh, this is
Analia.
lovely.
Analia looks at Mercy and cocks her head a little bit and just goes, "Are you coming?"
Yeah, I'll catch up in a bit. Jikat, you still have to answer to the fact that you literally tried to knock me out and drag me into your therapist's den when I've been very clear that we're over. Okay, perhaps that wasn't the most responsible course of action, Mercy, but something I'm learning from my clients is to be intuitive and listen to my instincts. And I stand by my former assertion that you're pushing me away, Mercy.
Mercy, do you want me to
Can
kill this guy
Analia knock
for
him
you?
out? Can Analia knock him out?
Oh no.
You wanna...
Do you want me
Analia's
to
gonna
kill
knock
that
them
guy
out.
for you? Because I would
Wait, hold
totally
on.
kill that guy for you.
Analia, put your scimitar away. Sitlali, it's fine. This happens, okay? This is just sort of how our relationship works, all right? I hit her, she hits me.
Not
I hit her
healthy.
back, she hits me. Healthy's relative, know what I mean? Look, it's fine. I'm fine. I can handle myself.
Okay.
Yeek.
Analia just
Many
starts
other
walking,
axes
puts
that
her
we
hands
need
like
to
this and just starts
knock
backing up, just like, all right, this is what you want to do? I'm not going to fight you on it. Bye.
How many others, Mercy? How many other fucking exes do we have that we're gonna go through this with?
There are 8 total. One for each nation. That's why I prefer to travel.
When we get back, I want a list. We're making a list. And I need details on what they do.
Mercy, you're
their
hot,
occupations.
but I'm sorry, you're not that hot. You're hot. Like, you're not that hot. And Elia's like yelling down the tunnel as they're backing up.
Hey, like the 5 of you are one to talk. You've all got issues you're not processing. It just so happens that mine is the one that made you not process them.
On that note, Geron is going to take the soup that Gentle gave him and kind of try to catch up to Oka, because they have something to talk about afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
We don't have to do
Sitlali-
it on screen, just afterwards. This is a conversation that's going to happen.
I think Sitlali, like, just over their shoulder as they are putting their shield back in its place, just, Mercy, I want names, I want abilities, I want towns. We're going through all of it.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Listen,
And I'm making you
Jikat.
a disguise.
Yeah, you got it. Jikat. Okay, fine. I'll write. Okay? I'll write. All right. That's all I wanted. Thank you for being open, Mercy. And it was great to meet the 5 of you. You're welcome in my den anytime as clients or as friends. I'll pop open the back door for you so you don't have to go through the tunnel of trauma.
So
Have a
there
good
is a
one.
back door.
Gentle would go back, honestly. Gentle would go say hi. It must be lonely.
And maybe on that, we can end this part of the session and enter some epilogues real fast for each of our characters. I know that we have an unredeemed Sitlali Mercy memory moment. So maybe we can actually start with Sitlali, remembering this memory with Mercy before we flash back to the present and see what you're doing during this epilogue.
Cool,
Okay.
cool.
So set the scene for me, Sitlali. When and where is this memory happening?
Oh golly geez. I think it's after. I think Sitlali, it was like their first really important, like, you need to forge these documents and do all of this shady shit so that we don't get caught. And I think Sitlali fucked it up. And I think someone got hurt. Maybe it's when Analia got really hurt because of them. And they, when we make camp that night, Sitlali just kind of goes off by themselves and is just pacing and like murmuring in Raven speech to themselves.
As you're pacing off, maybe in like this like little neck of the woods. Maybe you're in what did we say? I don't think we established where we were. Maybe you're in Jukai, right? And you're like pacing around in like the woods here, muttering to yourself. When you hear like a twig snap from behind you, and you hear a familiar voice come out of the darkness that says, "Hey, got room for two?"
Think you can keep up?
Keep up with your pacing, your frantic pacing in a semicircle? I think so.
I don't know. You might be tired from, the day.
Mercy emerges from the darkness with her sword sheathed on her back as usual and joins you. I think she squats down on a boulder as you continue to perhaps pace. What's chewing at you?
I just, I messed up. The forgeries, they weren't good enough. They weren't good enough. The disguises they didn't match. And it was sloppy. It was a bad job. It was a sloppy job. Mercy. It wasn't my best work. It wasn't my finest hour. Didn't talk our way out of it very well either. I was supposed to be the one and I wasn't. So.
What do you mean the one?
That's not what I meant. The one to do the job,
Sitlali, you're a good liar. But so am I. What are you talking about? You know I'm not going to tell anyone about this, right?
I mean, does it matter? The past is the past, right? That's not what we're about here.
Past has fangs. And hoods, sometimes.
I wasn't always a charlatan. I wasn't always reading cards on the side of the fucking road.
Yeah?
You've seen what else I can do.
I have.
You know where it comes from, right?
Somewhere freaky, gray, full of birds.
Yeah.
So you're from the court. What does this have to do with being the one?
I was their best.
They're best at what? Lying, conning people? Swimming? Got a lot of swamp there.
I was their best priest.
How do you be the best at being devout?
I don't know. But that's what they said. That's what my parents always said. That's what my family always said. That's what they always said. You're the best. You're the one. You're it. You're one of a kind, Sitlali. That's why we named you after the fucking stars. So
why are you here and not there?
Wasn't for me.
Why not?
I don't know. Didn't vibe with my vibe.
They wanted you to be something you weren't. And they were so attached to this version of you that they couldn't accept the truth. The real you. Something like that, right?
The real fake me, yeah.
At least you're honest about being a fake hoe.
Yeah, well, I think people prefer the fake version, so.
I'm a lot of things to a lot of people, too. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm Mercy. The Hounds of Mercy. I'm the leader here, right? So when we fail, it's really a reflection of me. If we fail as a team, it's because I failed as a leader. I know how it feels to have a burden on your shoulders. I know how it feels to have people counting on you. To have people look up at you, see something superimposed over you when they look into your eyes, their own version of you, their expectations of you. I know that feeling. It's a heavy burden. And I'm proud of you for stepping away from that.
I don't think anyone's ever said that series of words to me in my entire life.
Yeah. Well, here it is again, kid. I'm proud of you.
Don't keep saying that. That feels weird. I feel weird about that.
I'm proud of you, kid.
No, we're not doing
You
this.
did good.
We're not.
You're good at what
I
you
didn't,
do.
though.
You're valuable. The hounds like you.
No, stop saying that. Stop being nice to me.
And we're all very proud of you. And Mercy gets up and like comes forward, like almost menacingly, to hug you.
What are you doing? What is this gesture? Are we fighting? I'm not. What?
And she just in like a hug.
What do you do? Is this a new move? That is it. What is?
Never
this?
been hugged before, kid?
No. Is that a hug? What?
Grade 8. They really did a number on you, didn't they? Means I like you. Means you matter to me. Not some version of you I've got all stitched up in my head funny. But the real you. For all your shitty bits. All your good bits, too. Is that what makes you Sitlali? I'm never gonna call you the one of the hounds. Not because I don't think you're good enough at what you do, but because I never put that kind of shitty expectation on you. Because the instant I call you the one, you stop being Sitlali and you turn into a symbol. And I wouldn't do that to you. So we're all broken here. You okay, kid?
Can we stop doing the hug thing? Do we
yeah, okay.
have to keep doing that? Okay.
she lets you go.
And I think this is still during Sitlali's short phase. So I think she just kind of thinks that, like, she just kind of stands there processing and then goes, actually, can we try it again?
Come here.
Okay. And then they just kind of awkwardly allow themselves to be hugged.
Yeah, and Mercy hugs you. And she leans down and says in the same, like, kind, caring voice, breathe a word of this to anyone, Sitlali, and I'm fucking killing you. Love you, kid. Thumps you on the back.
Toxic.
I love Mercy so much. Would 100% die for them. That's all.
You will.
I was ready.
Words were never spoken.
I was ready. I was ready
my
to
God.
lay my life down.
Does that feel like a good place to end that memory, Sitlali?
Yeah.
Okay. So where are you now? Real fast. Let's bang out these epilogues. Where are you now in the present as you're thinking about this memory? After the monster hunting.
So I assume we get back to camp? Yeah? We make it back to camp, okay?
100%. Yeah, totally.
So same day probably. We're at camp. Yeah, cool. We're at camp and I think she looks down and realizes that she still has her out. And she doesn't tuck it back in for the first time. She just kind of leaves it out. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, you're in camp and you're maybe there's a moment where you consider it, but
yeah,
you choose not to. You're sitting there around the fire and you look down at your symbol and you let it hang.
Yeah. And I think the hair that had gone white comes back to life.
Aww. I really like that. And I think like we're going to pan around the campfire to Gentle. Gentle, give us a little taste of your epilogue. What's like the parting moment for Gentle?
Yeah, I think for the first time, now that we're actually back at camp, I have the tools to make a full meal. So I make like a nice big feast of a spread. And I just like look at everyone, I smile, say, you're all my best friends, and I'm really glad you're my family.
Oh my goodness. Maybe over the fire it's like the food that's like cooking over the fire that you're tending to. It's like delicious smell sort of drifts up. We're gonna pan around the circle to Analia. What's like the parting image from Analia?
It's gonna be very funny because I can't get this image out of my head. So there's gonna be an image of Mercy sitting on like in a chair or something.
Okay.
And Analia is on the ground doing sit-ups and like is teasing Mercy about the events of today, and they just go, "You're getting old, Mercy."
And maybe this is like a little ways away from the fire. If that's okay with you. If it's in the same scene. Mercy gets off from the boulder. She's like polishing her sword. Ugh. She chucks her sword off to the side. She gets down next to you and starts doing push-ups.
Yeah,
like next to you.
Let's go. And we're just like busting them out, and it's just so good. Thank you for that gift. That's exactly what I wanted. Thank you.
I love that. I think maybe the two of you were trying to one up each other. She like starts doing one-handed push-ups. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Analia's like, "Who wants to come sit on me while I do push-ups?"
Oka, get over here.
What the? I'm busy.
Yeah. No, wait, Oka, come here.
As a second in command, get over here. I'm ordering you.
You're not my boss.
I pay you. Get over here. Unless you want to be stuck on latrine duty.
Ugh, we don't even have latrines, Mercy.
What I mean by that is everyone's gonna shit and piss in a bucket, and you're gonna have to take the shit and piss buckets out and dump him.
I'm gonna shit and piss in your bucket, Mercy. But they like stomp over, and they like sit on her.
And I think like the two of you continue to like do push-ups with like a disgruntled Oka on your back.
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe like we cut a few minutes later to Geron's epilogue, but maybe when the push-up contest is like dying down.
Yeah. I was thinking actually it could even be before the push-up contest, because I was kind of thinking that maybe Geron and Oka were like sitting by the fire together beforehand, and like their conversation got interrupted by this push-up contest, and now that's totally a whole other thing.
Great, awesome. That's what's happening.
But yeah, so if it's okay with you, of course, see, if you would rather something else, that's totally chill. Okay. But I think I like to imagine that they're kind of like sitting by the fire, and something that they used to do before was Geron's really into like languages, and they know like 5, and they are constantly looking to learn more. And given that Oka knows like other languages that Geron doesn't know, they were teaching him like different languages, like Celestial, for example. And so I like to think that they haven't really found a chance to maybe get the courage to talk about what happened, but they're kind of like low-key spending time together again. And so Oka is like trying to teach Geron like more Celestial, and there's just like a moment of like their hands are like kind of barely touching, but like not quite touching all the way as they're sitting there on the ground by the fire.
No, you have to. You don't roll the R. You let it fall, I guess.
Like that?
No, you're rolling it like a bird, like Raven speech, like ras.
Yeah, but that's the language that I know. Okay, hold on. So like ras.
Just don't roll it. No, ras. Like let it. Yeah, that was close.
I think we're gonna have to try again, like tomorrow or something.
Sure, keep practicing, and I'll let you know how you do.
I like that.
Hey, Oka, get over here.
I'm busy.
And with that, we are going to, I think our final image, we're going to cut to Oka. Maybe you're done being like being on Analia and Mercy's backs.
I think, Connie, actually, if it's okay with you, we said earlier that this is a few days before Adolin, which is also the events of episode 1 in Transplanar RPG, by the by. And I think maybe the Hounds are packing up camp. They're getting ready to move on. Maybe they're supposed to be spending Adolin in Bolshaya, perhaps. And Oka is actually going to call Geron over, I think. Hey, Geron, can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah. What's up?
Uh, I'm not coming to Bolshaya.
Where are you going?
Mercy thinks that I need to go talk to some guy, Delapathy Saeed, in the fucking Badlands somewhere, and I'm gonna go. But I'll be back, and I was thinking that maybe when I come back we can talk.
Do you have to go? I wanted to show you Bolshaya. You've never been there with me before.
I know, but Mercy, and
Yeah.
it's hard to explain. No.
Yeah. No, it's
Jar-
cool. No, don't worry.
And Oga actually clasps Geron's hands. It's not like that. It's not, but I can't be. What I said in the tunnels was true. I am the worst version of myself, and you deserve better than that, and I hope that one day I can be better than that, but I need time.
Geron puts their free hand on Oka's cheek and kind of just puts his forehead on Oka's, closes his eyes and says, "You've always been the best version of yourself to me."
I wish that was true. I hope one day I can tell you everything.
Promise me you'll come back.
Fine. I promise.
If you don't, you know I'm gonna come find you and kill you myself.
I'd like to see you try. And they kind of back up, and they have like their bag like kind of slung over their shoulder, and they kind of just blow a kiss, and they take a few steps back before they turn. See you, fuck all, Mercy.
Yeah. This ain't the last we'll see of each other, Oka. You and I both know that. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll be hunting you down for bounty. And I think on that, we are gonna end this one shot, and we are gonna close out Shoot Your One Shot, a series of 4 one-shots set in Andake, raising money for ourselves and our incredible guest stars, 4 of whom are in this very Discord call right here. So I have been your GM and executive producer, Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me on Twitter, Patreon, and itch at by Connie-chang, BYCONNIECHANG. I am a pro GM. I make games and supplements and stuff. Follow me on Twitter for the latest updates and hot takes in the TTRPG sphere. I'm going to pass along introductions to Jude.
Hello, it's me. It's your local chaotic bisexual. My name's Jude. My pronouns are they, them. You can find me being a variety broadcaster on Twitch, but also being a TTRPG performer. I'm also the producer for Death to Divinity, the first all-fat, all-queer D&D 5e campaign. That's an actual play and podcast, which I'm very excited about. We are going into Katie May's versions of the Feywild very soon, which is exciting and scary. Katie May currently, right now, is doing a live stream on the Patreon about the Feywild and has said that she's going to kill us. So that's fun. That's that. I'm also over on From Dusk Till Dark, which is a Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign over on Vanish channel. And I have 3 cats that want to take over the world. Yeah,
Great, wonderful. Go ahead, pass it on to someone else.
Dare, do you want to go?
Sure. Hi, I'm Dare. You can find me on Twitter and TikTok at NBDare. That is ENBYDARE. I do everything online. I'm a poet, writer, editor, sensitivity reader. I do a ton of stuff. But I have a game that I just released called When the Sun Dies. It is about the world ending in a very chill way. I'm actually going to be streaming that the 12th over at Ephemeral Forest at ephemeral_forest. That's my usual streaming home. So next Thursday, check that out. I'm also an affiliate with Die Hard Dice, so if you like dice and hopefully yours will roll better than mine did tonight, go to dieharddice.com and use the promo code NBDARE for 10% off. And yeah, those are my big plugs today.
Heck yeah, let's pass things along to, let's do Humna.
Hello, everyone. My name is Humna. I use any and all pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at @shahid_, where I talk about all of the different projects that I am a part of. Right now, I am playing a mini-series on the Follow Black Cats channel, where we are playing Cursed Captains of Cthulhu, where we are pirates facing Cthulhu. It's very scary. You should definitely watch. I am also going to be a cast member of an upcoming Pathfinder stream where we are playing with all of the players are Asian, and we are going to be playing in a heavily Asian-inspired setting. It's going to be super fun. We're going to be kicking lots of ass, so definitely follow us. We are Trail Mix Tales for that one. But yeah, thank you all so much for coming. It was so much fun.
Heck
And
yeah,
I'm going to pass it on to Quinn.
Hello. I'm Quinn. My pronouns are she, they, and I do things and also stuff. You can find me on Twitter at Quintastic_. That's with 3 N's. Because I'm like that, TM. I write games. I am a sensitivity reader. I am an actual player. I do other things that end in ER. Yeah. You can catch me every other Tuesday. Let's see if I can remember my schedule. Every other Tuesday on Heroes Without Limits. Every other Saturday on that other place, Friends Who Roll Dice. And then another show I'm starting up soon that I don't think has been announced yet, so I'm not going to say that one. But get hyped. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my games on itch. It's also Quintastic, but without the underscore. Buy my games. Thank you very much.
Heck yeah. And last but not least, let's do introductions with C.
Hey y'all, my name is C. I use they, them pronouns. I am a professional dancer, a tabletop actor, a dungeon dramaturg, a digital artist. You can find me making very trans, very queer art of this group, by the way. I will be doing that. Over on my Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr at PieSharpArt. I sometimes also stream my art at pie_sharp, so you can find me doing that. I am also a regular cast member here on Transplanar RPG, playing Okahie, your local shitty little god taxi. So catch us on Saturdays for that. I was also the co-producer for this event, Shoot Your One Shot, and we have blown through our goal. I have so much joy for all of y'all getting to play and produce this stuff. Was so amazing. So thank you so much for making this such an amazing event. My heart is 10,000 times its size, and it's a medical problem.
Yes, absolutely. Again, a huge thank you to everyone who tuned in, who donated, who retweeted, who liked, who boosted this on social media, who talked about it on their streams, who put it in Discord, who hyped us up on Twitter. Y'all are amazing. We could not have done this without you. Thanks to you, we have hit, as of the end of Shoot Your One Shot, $1,200.42.69. So we did end on a high, a nice 69. Let's get a nice in chat. So thank you all so much. We are $200+ over our initial goal. We're going to get to pay our incredible guest stars and ourselves. What an exciting turn of events. And with that, we're going to raid Pleasantly Twisted. I think she's playing Death's Door right now. So let's go say hi, go give them a follow, go say the Transplanar sent them, use the raid message in chat, Transplanar's plane shifting into your stream. We love you all so much. Follow all of these people on social media, tune into their projects, and Transplanar's next episode streams this Saturday at 3 p.m. US Central Time. We're winding down from a climactic Arc 3 boss fight, so tune in for that. Thank you again so much. Peace.